everybody, and welcome to the FFC Show. My name is Thomas Harkin. Today, I'm joined by Caie Copp, who's the current FFC head official. We spoke to Caie before regarding some of our rules and all that type of stuff. So we're going to look into our new rule set for the hybrid boxing for August the 29th for Rhondda Rampage 7. So over to you, Caie. Just want to say hello and welcome back. Thanks for joining me again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, mate. I appreciate it and giving me some of your time. Yeah, I'm excited about these new rules. I think there's going to be a step in the right direction with the way that combat sports is going now. I think this is going to be a great addition to the Rhondda Rampage shows, and I think we're just going to start paving the way for other promotions to follow and suit us, and also just for the fighters to express themselves in a good way.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, as we said, we're going to jump straight into it, right? We're going to jump straight into the hybrid boxing. Now, one of the things that we spoke about before, obviously you've been our head official since the start, right? So we were talking about this just now. One of the things I said from the start was with the hybrid boxing, I always wanted to keep it as boxing as clear boxing as I possibly could. So we wanted to kind of stay away from the clinch aspect. We wanted to kind of keep it free flowing. But now with obviously, the bare knuckle rule sets going the way they are, like with the BKB and the BKFC, and then you see the guys getting caught in clinches and you see how exciting it is. This is the way that we're going to go down now. So for somebody watching hybrid boxing for the first time, Caie, can you explain what to watch out for, just to kind of see that you can see? Sorry.
Yeah, so obviously the hybrid boxing is a little bit different. They're fighting in smaller gloves, in forearms gloves. They're not actually closed fingers, so which is for the reason why they're able now to clinch, and they're allowed to put their hand on behind them and start, rabbit punching and digging in, to the body, to the head and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be more interesting. If you look at boxing is never going to go away, but it is evolving into BKB. And the hybrid is the in between. It starts with glove boxing, now the hybrid. And probably for the majority of them, the end goal will be BKB. So we have to evolve our rule set to follow where people's careers want to go.
Exactly. Well, talking about that, we got Cornelius, who's won 3 titles in our promotion and went on and fought. It was got signed to the BKB, and then obviously we got the peaky striker Ash Williams, exactly the same, fought hybrid, and then they've gone on to the BKB. And I slowly started seeing the transition in Rhondda Rampage 6 when we put the round times a little bit longer. It was 5 3-minute rounds instead of 5 2s. So, having that, as you said, we're evolving. So we're kind of trying to stick with it. So as you said, being that in between, you're not just going to go, right, take the gloves off, jump straight in. You have that little bit where you understand how to have your hands open. Because one of the things you said straight away was about the fingerless gloves. From a referee's point of view, that biggest thing you have to watch out for is those fucking eye pokes.
Yeah. And the thumb knuckle as well. When people are punching the thumb knuckle, that's also can be a problem as well.
Yeah.
But also on the other aspect of it, I feel like, yes, the eye poking and the the thumb and the different part of the knuckles, so like these parts, and stuff like that. But also it's about like being able to frame, so like framing, I'm talking about like holding the person off to get more leverage to throw the punch. And there's also, we're only looking at the negatives of the gloves, we're not looking at the positives. And I feel like this new rule change is gonna promote the positives of the hybrid boxing, which is the fingerless gloves.
You just hit the fucking nail on the head there. One of the big things I always say to my guys, right, is whenever you're blocking or you're covering up, you throw a 10-ounce boxing glove or a sparring glove, if you cover a traditional way, you'll stop it because the volume of the glove is a lot bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'll hit your arms a bit easier. As you said, if you pull somebody down and you clinch them and you throw that 4-ounce glove, it's just your fist. There's not a lot to it. So, that will break through any guard, and that will break through, pushing the pace and pushing the, I'm not going to say the uncomfortability, but pushing the point where you can force your will a little bit more, and you can kind of like do that. And again, 4-ounce gloves is fucking small. It's nothing here compared to the 10s. Like,
it's harder to defend yourself. You know, obviously, if you've got a guard up, you know, a 10-ounce glove might not fit through that. But I guarantee you a 4-ounce glove might fit through it.
And then the other side is you can go like this or like this. And this is the side. If you go flush, may not, but you have a lot of people who can adjust the knuckles and turn up and go that way, and they'll get through the guard, you know. So it can, and yeah, like you said, look at the positives of the gloves. I like that because that's a good point, because the other side with
it's like anything, innit? You know, like K1, and people are, oh, you get a lot of low kicks to the groin, stuff like. We're fighting. These things are going to happen. Yeah.
It does
but
happen.
If you're going to talk about the bad stuff, you've also got to talk about the good stuff, you know. And in my opinion, the good stuff of hybrid boxing outweighs the bad stuff. Yes, you're going to have a finger in the eye at some point, you know, or you're going to have a thumb in the eye, or whatever, you know. But it's going to swing both ways. But then if you look at the positives, you know, there's a bigger talking point about the positives rather than just the negatives.
And a lot, it brings, I'm not going to say it brings more excitement, right? Because then it seems that you're just hunting for knockouts. That's not what we're looking for. But I think that it adds that little bit more danger, because the gloves are small, you know, like the gloves are smaller. So you have to be more switched on. You can't half-ass, fuck it, I'll just do 4 weeks and 4 weeks of cardio. You can't do it like that. You know, you have to be, if you're committed to doing this is the transition that you have to make. You have to go, okay, I'm going to take these 10 ounce off and I'm going to concentrate on the fours, because then, as we said from the start, from the fours, the next point is going bare knuckle completely. So having that, I think it adds just that little extra layer of excitement, you know?
Yeah, and I was also like what you were saying, you hit the nail on the head about the training, the fighters. You know, because there's a switch up, it's something different. Yeah, it's still boxing, but it's a different variation of it. That is going to put more fire in the bellies of the fighters to give them more to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do their runs out and try and run further, run faster. You know, when they're at the gym, they're more committed. They're more committed to the weight cuts and stuff like that. You know, how many times have, you know, people turned up the show and they half-heartedly done the weight cut, so they've missed weight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And like we said, one of the extra points that adds that even more excitement is, as we said, the clinch aspect, right? So with this now, I think that, for example, you got Joshy versus Dave. Dave, seasoned MMA fighter, who's obviously been able to use the clinch throughout all of his fighting career, right? Joshy come in from a traditional boxing point of view. He was supposed to fight hybrid in the last one, but that fell through. So he's always fought in gloves until he fought on road to BKFC. And I was speaking to him when I was doing this rule set, and he said to me, he goes, "It was a fucking surprise when somebody could clinch me," because as you said, holding the back of the head and pulling it down. If anyone is, obviously, whenever you do a single collar or a single plum or tie plum clinch, you know, you can tell how strong that is. And then if you have a single collar and you can control that neck and hold that plate person where you need them, especially in the corner. And one of the other sides is we have a fucking 16-foot ring. You haven't got a lot of space to run away, you know. So if you get pushed into that corner,
it's all action, isn't it? It's all action.
You get pushed into that corner, clinched up, and then those uppercuts are coming up. Like, I think it just adds that even more exciting, because then it's like, right, what can you do now? How are you going to get out of this position? You can't just.
It's down to the fighter to get out of that position, not me. Don't ask me to get you out of that position, because no, you'll put yourself in that position. You know, it's your job to get out of there.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next point. That, like, whenever you do a fight hybrid, when I cornered Cornelius in the BKB, that was, and obviously Josh in that BKFC thing, that was one of the things that I had never experienced so much, right? Was how people were warming up for the clinching. It was mental. It was like, I fought MMA, I've been in MMA, I've cornered MMA, I've done that, but like how people, it was like it was a certain way. This is how it's done. Do you know what I mean? There's no like a traditional way of doing it. It's like people have their own variations of it. And this is what I'm saying. I think that if you come back with, like, you've come from a Thai gym or you've got that Thai background, you know, you'll see this. I think you'll see different variations of this again into the clinch, and how people can use it, and then how they're going to use it to the effectiveness of their game plan. I think as I said, I think it adds that extra fucking bit of excitement onto it. And as you said, is You have to fight your way out of it. You ain't going to save him from it.
Yeah.
So that just adds that even more point of fuck, right, I got to move, like, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, like from my point of view, the only danger of the clinch is obviously as the head comes together, then I will step in.
Yeah.
But apart from that, if they're in the clinch and one is, throwing the punches and throwing the things, I'm gonna let it go, and you know, I'm gonna tell the person that's defending, you have to defend yourself. You have to, if their arm is on the back of my head, my job as a defending one is to protect myself, but I need to get out of that. So I either get out of there and get my arm through and over, and then turn them or whatever. People have to prepare to get out of it, because if they're expecting me to jump in, I won't be. I won't be. And I do feel like a lot of fights are gonna be different. If you look at it, I always go back to Cornelius and Brad Couch. It's my favorite fight of all of the shows. And Brad come out and really dominated in the first round. Give Cornelius a standing 8 count. Actually, funny enough, I watched the fight the other day, and then because Cornelius was against the ropes, Brad was unloading shots onto him. Didn't have him in a clinch, but he kind of had his hand behind his back.
Yeah.
And stopping him from circling out, but throwing and Cornelius just was over the ropes like this.
Shelling.
Shelling. Wasn't defend himself. And like I said, I warned him to defend yourself. He didn't defend himself, so then I have to step in and defend him and stop him, which he had the 8 count. But if you go to the second round, which two of the judges had it Cornelius winning that round, the second round, and then Cornelius winning the third round. We're talking about the times about being five rounds.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
If that was 5 rounds, in my opinion, that would have potentially been a Cornelius win, because Brad had that. If you remember, he had
the
that
hematoma.
Hematoma on his eye, and he had a cut above his other eye. And I went and spoke to the medic, and they were happy for Brad to continue, but they did warn me, as soon as if that hematoma breaks, I've got to stop the fight immediately.
Give me 2 seconds, bro. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Let me just pause this. Athena just.
So just picking up then. I was on about Brad Couch. With the 5 rounds, in my opinion, it could have been a Cornelius stoppage.
Yeah.
Fight ended up as a draw, which was a good decision, because Brad had obviously given Cornelius a standing count in the first round. Cornelius dominated the second and third round, which the fight ended up in 28-28 on 2 judges.
This is another point now that they're all there, all 5-2s. So doesn't matter if it's a title.
5-2s or 5-3s.
It's going to be, we're going to try the 5-2s to start. And then we probably end up pushing up to 5-3s. But 5-2s just to see where it goes, but it probably will be 5-3s. But that's what I mean. We'll all start at the 5-2s. So it doesn't matter if it's a title or not. You get to experience that 5 rounds, and you get to go through it, and you have to prepare for the 5 rounds. Do you know what I mean? And that's the other side. And then the another point that you made is when Couchy was stopping Corn, escaping the corner with the arm. This is another big thing that's going to definitely come in with the rule set now, is like, if you can't escape this way, obviously you can't escape this way. You can change your hand. If I can hold you down with this hand, and you start going this way, I can break this one, switch my hand control, and I can start hitting you with this hand now. So this is what I mean. It just brings. We're
adding. We're not. We know a lot of people talk about taking away things. We're adding more tools for them to use within the ring, and and change fights. Tactically, some boxers like to keep it long, some people like to keep it short. So what happens is, the taller fighter, when when the person gets in close, they grab, and they hold and stuff like that. And I do see a lot of officials who kind of, take too long before they start saying anything. You
Mm.
know, in these fights, like you said, they're predominantly 3 rounds or 5 rounds and stuff like that. You know, that's not that long.
No.
You know, and if you watch the professionals, some of them have had 10, 12 rounds. You know, so that's an even longer time. So, you know, they're affordable of more time before they can see anything because the fight's over a longer period. Where in these shorter period fights, officials need to be analysing the situation, and if they're gaining an advantage for it, you know, through the holding, which they shouldn't be doing, it's trying to put a stop to it. So I think if you're a fighter who likes to fight on the inside, this is another tool for you to use and to benefit from.
So on that then, what, as we said, we've got the clinch now. As soon as you call break, what is going to be the point where, or what's going to lead you to calling a break? So like obviously inactivity, you know, anything, is there anything else that's going
to any fouls?
Yeah.
So hitting with the wrong part of the glove.
So like a hammer fist, for example.
Yeah, hammer fist or the inside of the of here,
yeah.
You know, forearm or anything like that. You know, any use of the elbow, head clash, any fouls that I see, I'm gonna step in. Obviously, I'm gonna make sure that both fighters feel me there. I'm gonna, you know, give a tap on the back, get in between them, stop the action, separate them, and then we're gonna go straight back to the action. You know, if the person's not defending themselves, then and the other one is overwhelming them or hurt them or things, then obviously I'm going to step in and give a count for the fighter's safety. And that's pretty much it. You know, at the end of the day, if you've backed yourself into that position, it's your job to get out of it.
Yeah.
As I recently done a course with Matt Goddard, and just passed a judging and refereeing course with him. I learned a lot of stuff from that course, and we don't, you know, in one of the things in MMA, we don't give credit for the defense, so we don't want to give them any advantage either.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they're not defending themselves, you know, they're in the position where they need to defend themselves, I'm not going to take away the attacker's advantage. I'm going to let it play out.
Yeah.
Unless there's a use of a foul, I'm going to leave it go. So if you've got someone pinned in that corner and, you know, you're in the clinch on them, you know, you fire away, you know.
But that's one of the things that I go over with in Apollo. It's like, you don't stop until the ref pulls you off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can't think, oh, I've won this fight by because I've done really well, or I'm just pitter-pattering, because you see that all the time. You always see, and not pitter-pattering, but you see people take the venom off the punches if they think they can finish somebody, or if they stand up against the fence, you know. So like one of the things I always say is just keep going until the ref pulls you off. And the only reason you have that mentality is because it's all it takes is one punch to change the fucking fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or one position to change the fight. Do you know what I'm saying? So like that's one of the things. It's just you just keep going until obviously you have to get involved.
Yeah, and also as well, like if you know, people, just for people's reference, you know, you see it all the time. People punching their guard, punching their, you know, biceps and stuff like that. They're all scoring targets because you're still doing damage to them. We're scoring this on effective striking.
That's my next point. That was going to be my next point. So we'll talk about now the scoring and for the rule sets, and obviously we'll touch on the K1 as well. So as you said, effective striking, exactly that.
You know, the target areas for the hybrid boxing is not just, you know, your torso, you know, your lower torso, the sides, you know, the head and stuff like that. You know, we are going to be looking at, you know, biceps and you know, punches and stuff like that, because they're effective. They're affecting you. You know, if your arms are dead, you can't punch, you can't attack. You know, and you're doing damage to that person. So you know, we're going to be scoring, you know, them type of shots. You know, if someone's just covering up and we're lumping their biceps, they're now scoring. So you can't just stay there like this and think that, you know, they're not scoring. No, they are scoring here.
And especially with the clinch aspect, you cover up like that, and that's all it takes is one or two to get around the arm.
Yeah,
If I'm aiming for your bicep, that's all I have to do is put your head in a position where I just catch you on the ear or I catch you on the temple. Equilibrium's gone now.
yeah,
And that's why I'm hitting the same spot, as you said, keeping effective striking. The next main point of scoring, effective aggression. So this is one of the biggest things that we've always said. And I remember you saying about this in the first one. If you are on the back foot, I'm not going to sit there and say you are losing the fight, but if you're on the back foot and getting fucking tagged or teed off on, you're losing the fight. So the effective aggression, you can't just dance around, circle around, pop a jab. No, you need to be effective in the position of where you are. So if you're going forward, you need to be attacking. If you are obviously on the back foot, you still need to be either countering or trying to work your way into a better position.
yeah. That's where you hit it, but also as well, like with the counter inside of it. If you're making that person miss, and then you're hitting them with clear, effective striking,
Back to number one.
Then you're winning.
Yeah, back to number one. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Effective striking. And this is what I mean. If you're going back and counter shotting and you're landing the shots, but working in a way where it's clear that this is what you were gaming the person to do. Do you know what I mean? You're not just on your back foot, on the back foot, on the back foot. Stop, right hand, move, 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 move. You're like, right, waiting for the 1-2. You're slipping, you're ripping, you're landing the shots that are supposed to be there. And then the next one is obviously fighting area control. So if both are, which is obviously hard, but both remain even. So like ring control or ring craft, as everyone calls it, like maintaining a dominant position within the ring, and it just goes back to effective aggression, really.
Yeah, I've got a simple way of putting this.
Yeah.
Okay. So scoring point one is effective striking. If number one, there's no clear obvious winner, okay, and the effective striking is even. Okay, then we go to point two, which is aggression. Yeah. So the aggressor, who's choosing where the fight's going. Yeah. Who is the one that's trying to force the action. And then three, yeah, which is, like you said, ring craft and ring control. Yeah. That is then the person who is trying to cut the person off. So that goes back to, again, the aggressor. So it's not, everyone thinks, it's about ring control, is about moving. No. Ring control is about how, if that person's moving to the right, circling to the right, how am I stepping across them to try and engage with them? So that's ring control. So simplify it for a lot of people who may not be involved in combat sports, who just like simply watching it. Ring control is where I'm dictating where the action is being played, where the action is gonna, concede. So if I'm on the outside and I'm moving around, and that person is cutting me off and making me fight within the corners of the ring, yeah, then they have the ring control, not me, because I'm the one that's moving. No. It's the one that's cutting off the ring, the one that's dictating where the action is being played out to. And that's just to simplify it for everyone.
And nice and easy. And nice, like you said, simplify for everybody. Now, the biggest rule that obviously with the hybrid, and this is the last thing we'll touch on with the hybrid, is there's no 3 knockdown stoppage. So obviously, I'm not saying you're going to get dropped 6 or 7 times in a fight and you let it go on. But what I'm saying is, like, there is that rule. So obviously, if in the, you can come back. We have seen people come back, like you said, obviously Conan and Cauchy is one of those ones. But this, I think, is another point of excitement where you're like, right, even if, because the other side is you can get clipped and get grazed. Do you know those grazing shots? When you, like a flash drop.
Yeah, flash
and then
knockdown.
and you're totally fine. You back up on your feet, you're totally fine. And then this is, I think, again, it adds a little bit more of excitement where it's like, okay, here we go then. It doesn't matter if I drop you 3 times. It could end up keep going, but that's another exciting point, I think, that adds to it.
Yeah, because I think there are a lot of people out there who are durable. There's a lot of durable fighters. And Cornelius is one of them. I've seen, some of the fights that he's had, Ethan George and stuff, and people like that who he's fought, against Brad Couch. Immediately, they look like they are the dominant ones. And then towards the end of the rounds, he looks like the dominant one, and that's credit down to his camps and everything else yourself, because I know you play a big part of it. But he is a very hard person to put away, and he is the type of person that could get knocked down, 3 times, maybe one to the body. He might get a flash a knockdown. And sometimes you also, the referee might make a mistake. It might be a punch and the person slips and they miss the slip and they get a thing. So it still is always in the back of their mind that I can still win this fight.
That was a good point. That was where the ref can see a slip, because you're wearing smaller gloves. That's all it. Even if it doesn't land properly, even if it lands on the guard, and you do slip, especially, I'm not, sometimes canvases with the sweat and stuff of it, it's fucking warm in it, and it is a bit slippery sometimes, and it does happen, like we see it quite a lot. You see it in BKB quite a bit, where if a fight will slip automatically, I'm not saying the ref will always respond with a takedown, a knockdown, but
there's situations where they do. They're at the end of the day, we're only human, and
exactly,
there's going to be times where mistakes are made, but from, like you said, in a 5-round fight, let's just go back to the 5-round fight, 5 rounds, is if you're going to do the 3 knockdown rule, they still have plenty of time to come back and win that fight. You could get knocked down 4 times, come back and finish the person where they've tried finishing you, they've gassed. Yeah. Now the durable fighter is entering into their fight.
And it's that thing, innit, going into deep water. Like, you can come out and you can fucking put it on me for the first 2 or 3 minutes, depending on what round what way we go. And then, as you said, it can happen. It can happen. And then 2nd and 3rd start slowly drifting away. 4th and 5th, then the guy who got dropped in the first is completely fucking fresh. You were fucked on your stool, and that's it. As we said, this is why we're doing it for. It's to give everybody that I'm not saying that equal opportunity, because the other side to it is you're going to be on there. Do you know what I mean? We've got doctors there for a reason. We've got you there for a reason. We know that you're not going to let somebody who's out on their fucking feet continue fighting if, obviously, we
got professionals there who are thinking fighter safety first. And there's been many times where myself or the medical team have turned around and said, yeah, that's enough, because they've seen something, or I've seen something that nobody else can see.
Exactly. And that's the thing. You and the medics get a different view to everybody else in the crowd. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see things differently. And that is one of the points that, like, even though we are enforcing that rule, that is one of those things that, like, it's not going to be, just fight until they fucking drop. We are doing it to give them an opportunity to come back. But then also, as we said, we've got people there where fighter safety is paramount.
Yeah. Well, you go back to Brad Couch. Like I said, I watched it the other day, and the commentators do a fantastic job.
Mark and Lewis,
they did. They're amazing, and they're fighters themselves, and they do a really good job. But if you go back to that fight now, a lot of people are probably going to go back to the fight now and actually look at this part of it, because
third round.
Yeah. Brad is cut above his eyelid, but the blood wasn't going into his heart, into his eye. I stopped the fight and let the medical team. Now, there's nobody more qualified to tell me, in that room, more than the medic. I don't care how many fights you've had. If you've had some of the biggest names in the sport, we'll turn around and say, you need to stop this fight. If the medical team, who are professionally medics, who were there for one reason and one reason only, tell me that this fight can continue as long as, for example, Brad turned on and said, as long as this hematoma, doesn't break. Now, if you actually have a look at that video, I don't just, because obviously immediately you're going to look at that hematoma on his eye, right? But I also said, check his other side of his face, which I was referring to the cut. Yeah. And then, you see them, check both eyes, the lights and everything else, in their eyes. And if they're happy for the fight to continue, as long as, for the reason as that hematoma stays closed, then I'm gonna let the fight go.
Like I said, I agree. I totally agree. it was one of those. Like, don't get me wrong, I was sitting, obviously, I was cornering. I was like, fuck, it was, you know, it was like,
yeah, a lot of people wanted me to stop it because
yeah.
it would have mean a Cornelius win. But
But
you know
then,
that if you take it out of it, you got to also understand is like when I'm in there, I don't have any affiliation to
yeah,
people.
there's zero,
Yeah,
yeah,
obviously I know you, and you know yourself. I'm happy enough to tell you. I'm happy enough
yeah. That
to
it
tell
was that show. I had a
everybody.
bollocking off it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's at the end of the day, my job is paramount, and my job is there. I take it very seriously, and I play the part to my best of my ability.
of course.
And I have no friends. I have no obligation to anybody's.
Yeah,
And yes, I know Cornelius. You know, but still in there, I'm not. They're not names. They're red and blue.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there's no other ones. And obviously, some people, you know, like you just admitted yourself, could be guilty of turning around and saying you should stop this because you want your friend or your fighter or your person.
mm.
I had it on the Matt Goddard course. So you know what? When we're going through the practical,
Yeah,
yeah, he's screaming and shouting, saying all these crazy things, you know, and you have Christy there shouting and crazy things, and you have to ignore that.
yeah,
You know, you have to ignore it and you have to focus on what you're doing. Forget about everybody else's say. The
yeah.
only people that matters are mine and the medical teams.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the thing is, as soon as anybody who's got any like anything within combat sports, as soon as they see blood near the eye or anything near the eye, it's always like, oh my God. I'm not going to say it's always that reaction, but it's like, fuck, it's got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped because obviously I'm not saying you get used to it, but we see it. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like
yeah,
that's
definitely.
when everyone reacts like, oh fuck, it's got to be. And let's be totally honest with you, he looked like he had a fucking tennis ball under his fucking head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he did.
Like with that, it was just that straight left every time. It just, but
Yeah, he was catching it, and your Cornelius obviously was aiming for it. You
oh
know,
yeah, oh well, obviously it was the fucking advice of the corner. Eight, always aim for the number eight, and that's what it
yeah,
was. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
that's the way we done it. Now we're going to touch on we've done a little bit of a change to the K1 just to kind of like uniform ourselves across. So with us now, we're going to have zero clinching in K1 just to kind of follow across. So this means obviously no catching the kicks, no cat as of this was one of the things that we used to allow on the shows before. You can't single collar or you can't tie plum, you can't do any form of clinching, but you still can throw knees and all that type of stuff. Now, from your perspective, we've watched a show go through this before, and obviously we spoke about this before, but what's your thoughts on this?
Um, it's mixed, right?
Yeah,
So I would say personally, I don't like it because I like traditional K1.
yeah,
Okay, where you know if it's done properly, um, you know, like the catch of the leg, you know, and I come from a person from a sport karate, you know, like points fighting background where people are going to throw double kicks at you,
mm.
you know, and if you can't catch my leg and take my stand and you know like hit me or you know hold my leg, then I'm going to be able to double kick you, you know, and I'm
Yeah,
going to be able to hit you from different angles. Um, but I, you know, if you can see it properly, catch and strike, you know, and it's done properly, it's really good. It's
yeah.
really strong. I've seen people win fights because of it.
And it's such
You
a
know,
power shot. If you catch that leg and your backhand is free and you just step in and blast, it's such a shot. Like,
yeah. That you know the clinching, like you know, one arm clinch and then the knee strike and stuff like that. You're gonna gain more leverages and stuff like that. Um, but that's my personal opinion. You know, like I said, if we're gonna look at that kind of stuff, we also got to look at the positives.
yeah,
Okay, and the positives are one, it's more or less gonna minimize the knees to the head.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you ain't having the person, no matter what anyone says, I didn't pull on him, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Yeah, mate, I've been told that a million times. If you've leveraged the person into your knee and they are automatically head's gonna go down, the knee comes up, you know, they're sometimes contact,
Yeah.
you know. And people have lost fights because of it. I've taken points. There was Jed,
Jed and
yeah,
Neil.
you know, who dominated who had a performance of his lifetime against the kid who he fought. He looked really unreal
Mm.
against him. The only downfall was he did catch him with a knee to the head. But like I always say to the fighter, they bent down, and the people have always got an excuse. People have
Yes.
always got about their opinions of it, or a reason of why they done it. But you're throwing the technique, mate, so you're responsible for
Always look after your weapons, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're responsible for your weapons, like.
Yeah, a chef always sharpens his knives up, and at the end of the day, you got to have the right knives for the right meat, and at the end of the day, if you've been warned about watching the knee to the head, then, it's simply don't throw it, If you're on your final warning, he was in a dominant performance. He had won every round, was hit. The guy had him, in parts of the fight in trouble.
It was a good display by Jed. It was a very good display, and it was fluid. He was flowing. He would throw a 3 punch combination, finish with a high kick, clinch, fucking knee, release the clinch, hit him again, clinch again. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, he had a really good K1 performance, and we were just saying, but before we went live, I don't want to get involved.
No.
The best fights are the ones I don't have to get involved in. And unfortunately, the knee to the head, I have to get involved. So I do think on the new rule set are going to play a better part of that. But also, people need to be aware of these rules, and hence why we're doing this. And I know you do fighter packs and coaches packs for all the coaches and things, and it's really good. And I hope that all the coaches and fighters read them and really take them on board, because if they don't, and these rule sets are in place, I have to follow. My job is to follow the rules, and if they're catching the leg, and striking and stuff like that, I don't want to be getting involved in a fight, but I will have to if they're not following the rules.
And then not just that, one of the things that we always push is obviously you, Tommy, all of you. We always have a rules meeting, and we will physically demonstrate the hybrid rule set, and we will also even demonstrate what happens if you catch. It's like, for example, even if you instinctively catch a kick or whatever, we'll show how quick you're going to be on them to break it. So like, this is the thing that we, as you said, we do the fighter packs, just because I'd rather every person who like, you're a coach yourself, you've got guys fighting on the show, right? I'd rather you as a coach turn up and go, right, I know exactly what is allowed, I know exactly what's not allowed, and I know exactly what that we are working towards, we're scoring towards. Because I've been to fucking shows where you're chasing a referee around. Do you know what I mean? Or like, you just have that, like, oh yeah, this is allowed, and then somebody from a different team tells you that this isn't allowed, and then this is, and then a changing room shit. Then like, oh yeah, but they didn't tell us we were allowed to do spinning back fist, like all that type of shit. So this is why we do it the way we do. So 10 days out or a week out, each fighter and each coach will get the pack, where it'll explain everything.
Yeah, and all the coaches and fighters need to have access to, like the coaches need to give that access to the fighters. If that's not send that to them, but they need to be made aware of this, because they can say, oh yeah, we're getting used to it. You've had plenty of notice to be told this. There's no going to be, we'll let them off this one. No. It's going to be a verbal. Yeah, a verbal warning. Don't catch the leg. Second one, is going to be a proper warning. Third one is going to be minus a point. That can change the effects of the fight.
Exactly. And we've seen that. on when we were talking about it before. We've seen that happen where I think both fighters lost a point, didn't they? In the first one, both fighters lost a point from doing the same thing. Again, we understand this habits. Like me and Caie were speaking about literally before recording. We taught the catch and punch. Like that was one of the main things in our training for fights. We always done it. But when you change to these, it's the same as like if you're a K1 fighter, you put a pair of boxing boots on. No fucker is going to expect you to throw a leg kick, because in your head, that's not what you're allowed to do. Mm-hmm. So this is why, as we said, we're implementing this now. So then people can go, right, I should not catch that. That's not allowed to do. So they know that these are the rule sets everyone has to follow.
Yeah, and like you said, like there are other promoters that that we attend. Like you said, we were at a show as just supporters. Well, I know you judged on one of them yourself. I was just there as a supporter, supporting Ashton Avo from Two Dragons, and Kian Mullins. we were having a chat, and we were basically saying like, this is the rule set that they're doing. So if we can unify the rules across Wales, it's going to be a benefit for all the fighters as well. So I understand that it's gonna take time for adjustment, but we're doing this for a reason, because people are stepping in stepping in that direction. We wanna help promote K1 kickboxing combat sports in Wales. And I know FFC are a big part of that. I know you're doing interviewing a lot of people and doing podcasts and stuff like that, and doing your media and stuff like that on the show, and you're bringing in new clubs all the time, which I see regularly there. And everyone who always says they get the best experience from the shows, and that's a credit to you and your team and everyone else. Not everyone's going to leave happy, because you're going to have a winner and a loser,
Yeah.
But the majority, the 98% of people walk away from the shows and feel like, yeah, that was a really good show. That was beneficial, even if their fighters, learned or won. I don't put it a loss. I call it a learning. That you go out there and you feel the benefits, and the fighters get. My son fought on the last one. He had the best experience ever. Really,
the pop for
really,
them too when they come out was fucking class. Like, two 13-year-olds coming out, and what were they, second second when they went from T
and Cole, wasn't it?
Cole, that's it. Sorry, T and Cole, 8 and 9, them, or 8 and 7, them to come out, blew the fucking roof off a place.
Yeah.
And then Harley and Hudson come out, blew the roof off a place again. And like you said, it's the experience, man. That's what we do it for, and it goes back to the venue, it goes back to the show, it goes back to everything, and it goes back to everybody who puts their heart and soul into it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not easy getting to where it is, and this is the thing. Like, this is why we do as much as we do on the outside as well, trying to get people in and try and give everybody that opportunity, because that, as we said, you fight for 6, 10, 12 minutes, but you've worked for 8.5 weeks, 12 weeks, 14 weeks, fucking, like Hudson, for example, now, as we were talking, and obviously Harley, like, obviously you got married last week, Harley was there, and Hudson, his parents are getting married this week, and he's dieting, he's making 55. So like, it's and he's a 13-year-old kid, and it's like, you have the fact then that they dedicate their time outside of the gym to do that. So then that's what we want to replicate in the show. That's why I'd be honest, like with Liam Wilson for our branding, that's why Liam does all our media, like our posters and stuff. That's why we get Jazz in, captured by Jazz in as much as we can, because we want to give back. Like having, again, I reference Hudson and Harley, having them two do what they did for the last show, and being 13-year-old kids who were bringing in an atmosphere, same as T and Cole, same as all of them, really. But
even the adults,
of course,
brings a big crowd. If you've ever seen Cornelius fight, he brings a crowd, and everyone is shouting for him. And if you're not shouting for him, by the end of the night, you will be shouting him, and you know who he is. He's just a fan favorite person. And he's just a lovely guy outside the ring.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, this is what we do it for. Like it's all about
the give back, like you said, even just to the. I've been to shows in the past where they don't even do, send out the rules and stuff like. Oh yeah, you'd be told them that, But like we just explained now, you've just invited us down to, my guys down to your gym now before to go and do some media. But that would be an experience for them all. And like you said, I've got Saxon fighting on, who's another 13-year-old boy. He's going to be, stepping in there, and he's done, kickboxing in the ring before, and he's just super excited for all this, and I know he'll love it. Knowing Saxon, he loves the camera, loves the mirror. He will be thriving in this.
Well, onto sorry.
They'll be getting exposure, and you're investing into that as well. And a lot of other people don't do that. And like I said, that's the benefits of being on the the FFC shows. And I know it's gonna be a good night. I'm looking forward to it. Shout out Tommy as well for the refereeing Teo, Cole, Harley, and Hudson, because the kids are harder I heard his podcast as well.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
podcast, and yeah, shout out to Tommy because them kids, they're fast. They, with the everyone says, oh, the heavyweights and that. Yeah, they got slow feet. They're dangerous. You got to be careful. But them kids are fast. They stand all over your toes.
yeah,
It's like going from you think, oh yeah, you're excited as a referee and you're nervous and you've got to be there. And the next year, they say fight, and these kids are like going 100 miles an hour, and you're like, oh, you've got to try and keep control of it. And they get excited and everything else, and they like running around you, and you've got to try and make sure that you're in the best position as you can. But it's like two Sonics in the ring.
exactly. And it is. And again, this is why we have the kids as well. Like I love opening with the kids because it is such a fucking. I think it's such a cool experience. Do you know what I mean? It's such a cool experience to be there. So on to Saxon, because you've got three competing. We've got Conahan, Saxon, and Caie Copp. So your brother Caie Copp's going to be making his debut with us. So we'll start with Saxon. Saxon is fighting my big bad Bradley. You've obviously refed Brad before. Brad's had two exhibitions on the show. His first one was against Rui on Rhondda Rampage 3, I think, or 4. And then in Rhondda Rampage 5. And then obviously now this is his first, what do we say, competitive or winner or loser? Yeah, competitive bout.
Yeah.
So this is
being judged as a winner or loser.
Yeah. So this is the first one. So I'm excited for this. I really am. Like, obviously, Saxon's bringing in that experience, being out, on the mats and stuff, and then obviously with Brad's obviously got experience being in the ring twice. I'm really looking forward to this one. Is there anything that we can expect from Saxon that's going to stand out?
Well, Saxon has fought in the ring before. He fought
boxing. I meant to say. I do apologize.
He's fought in the ring in kickboxing as well. So he's had experience, and this is what we talked about. Thing that the skills bouts what you're doing with them, they've experienced the walk, the weight, weighing in, all the media coverage, as we just said now, because that's half the battle as well, because they get excited, they're nervous and everything else. Now this is the first experience he's going to get where it's just a win or a loss, win or learn. Sorry, win or learn. But obviously, I can see he's slimmed down. He's coming of his own. He looks more, physically strong. So for Saxon, he was born for the limelight. Honestly, that kid is, he's special. He's going to be coming out. I know you've designed his kit. I don't want to give anything away, but he's gonna brighten everything up. He's going to be super excited. So yeah, I've been doing working with Saxon as well. I've been working with Saxon since he was 4 years of age. He's always been a talented kid, but above his confidence, he does sometimes struggle with his own self-belief. He gives off a persona that he's very confident and stuff like that. We've just been working on more on like sitting down on his shots, from coming the points and the mat spots and things. Everything is like always on the move, where now it's more boxing, it's more sitting down on the shots and less movement and more power, working angles and stuff like that. And instead of like a million light punches, tippy tappy punches, it's more about them single shots, setting up them power shots and stuff like that. So I know it's going to be a good fight. I know that Bradley is gonna bring the fire, and Saxon's gonna bring the fire. They're both gonna clash. So what's your thoughts on Bradley?
I'm excited. I am. Brad's always kind of like, he's like the quiet one in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got Caie, obviously you've met Caie. She's just like, I say, the team captain. Do you know what I mean? If I'm setting something up, Corey's like, right on me, let's do this, let's do that. And then you've got Brad then, who's got the most experience of them all, but he's just kind of like, okay, you'll turn up at the gym 20 minutes early and run the stairs. And, like he'll the one thing that he's done since being with me is I've seen him mature a lot, like inside and outside of the gym. And what I mean by that is, like, he he ended like when we were on the last one and he had his last the one prior and he had his last exhibition and he was helping the other guys warm up and stuff. Like everyone was getting dressed and they were like ready to go. Obviously, we had our team that turned up late doing it, so everyone was ready to go. Blah blah blah. And Brad's just chilled. He's just fucking walking around. He's like, "Oh, guys, we got ages. Don't worry about it." And it's just little things like that that having that calm mentality and that attitude, I think, has really helped him coming into the preparation. And then not just that, his sister Corey Roberts, he trains with her in the house, and then he's got his cousin who's Teo, the Tornado. All three of them, they all train with me. So like they went away in the camper van. They've taken their gloves and pads with them, and they've only gone for 2 days. So it's like that he eats, breathes, and sleeps it. That's all he does. He loves it, and the thing that he wants to do is just get better, and
Yeah,
that you can't fucking ask for anything better, anything more. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You cannot ask for anything more. Him and Hudson throughout this whole training camp for this one, they've pushed each other to limits which I didn't think was possible, and I'd be honest with you, like, yourself, but when you see somebody hit somebody fucking hard and you see it inspiring, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But then when the two of them are pushing each other and making each other uncomfortable, but then you could see at the end, they reflect on stuff. And then Brad would be like, oh yeah, I caught you because of this. Or, and I think this is what's going to be good for Brad, because obviously Brad had the exhibitions and stuff. Obviously Saxon's got a bit more experience, but I think this is what Brad needs. Brad needs that somebody to push him. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's fucking game. Like, honestly, he marches Liam. He'll spar with Liam. Like he spars with the adults, and he'll just get in anyone's face.
yeah,
And I'm not going to say I love that about him. There's certain things I'm like, Brad, for fuck's sake, chill out. But then there's other things where I'm like, right, that's perfect. I love the aggression. And I think this is what it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good test for him, and it'll be a good
yeah.
test for Saxon as well. And like I said, I think that's
I,
one of the
I
ones I'm
do
really
think
excited
that
for.
this is going to be Saxon's biggest test.
Yeah,
I do believe that. From an outsider's point of view, Brad, I've seen him mature, like you said. But one thing about it, like, I just want to know. I know you're the same as me. Whatever the results are, you're proud of what they've done when they've put up
100%.
in, how they've dedicated themselves, how they've matured, and just them as people. Like, no matter, no fight can change what
No,
they've done and how they are, and we can both as coaches, we're honoured to be a part of that.
like we know as a coaches now, right? It's this current 6 weeks holidays for summer, right? I haven't changed my timetable, and I bet you haven't. I bet your
No, I have
timetable, yeah. So
I've
every
added to it. If anything, I've added to the time.
exactly same as us. That they're still giving up that evening. It's been fucking lovely. And Brad he'll go running. He'll say, right, let's go for a run, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. And that's the stuff that when we say about maturing outside of the gym, you see. I met him when he was 12 or 13, I think, and you see this kid go from, like fucking about on a bag and trying to mess about or whatever, to now, like I said, turning up 25 minutes early, 20 minutes early just to run stairs,
Yeah,
and then he'll come upstairs and train in the gym, do the do nothing, do the warm ups like nothing. It's not like, oh yeah, I warmed up, don't worry, Tom, give me 10 minutes. It's like, right, cool, let's go. And that's the stuff that I love to see from him. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking
You
forward to that
can't
one.
teach that though. That mentality, like I was saying that Hudson, I
Yeah.
was saying earlier when you said about getting married, like he's dieting and stuff like that. It's so frustrating that seeing like these 13, 13, 14, 15 year olds doing that, and then you've got fully grown men who are missing weight because they things. And I was at the show last time, and like one of them missed weight by a few kilos, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's frustrating because we've got kids who have sacrificed a lot more than what the adults are doing. Do you know what I mean? And these adults are supposed to be like,
This
more
is what you do.
experienced. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but I totally agree with you.
these kids are like showing you up, really,
Yeah.
showing the adults how it's done.
Now, another one we got Conahan as well. Now, obviously, this one. Tell us about this one. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so Connor is. We were just speaking off air. He is made for boxing.
Mm.
He has aspirations of going into the hybrid. So I know he's got his eyes on Joshy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's who he said he would like to scrap one day, and he knows that Joshy's a good fighter. And it's not out of any disrespect. He knows he's a good fighter, and
Yeah, of course.
but kind of, yeah, he's gonna be one to watch. He's he's been with me since he was 18, but he did train previously at another club, and I've known him from that other club as well.
Yeah.
So he's been training since he was about 14. He's a very good fighter, coach, one of the coaches at my club, and well known. But yeah, he's really worked hard. He's just brought his weight down, and I think he could even go lower again. I think he could go to maybe 71, 72 kilos. I do think that. But we're taking this fight, a little bit heavier, because I think he feels like he hits harder and he's more dangerous at that weight. He's quick. He's gonna be sharp, and he's gonna be gunning for this fighter.
That's a good then. That's what I mean. It's things like that. When you've got targets and aspirations after it as well. So it adds even more. It's like fuck, and especially you got Joshy headlining the card, so the corner's going to be fucking there. Especially as you said, now he's going to be there watching it. So these are the things that make it that a little bit more exciting again.
Yeah, and I know Joshy's he's already a champion. He's a good one. And if you actually watch the last fight of his, Martin, the ring announcer, turned around and said, "What's next for Joshy?" And you see me going behind Joshy.
I know,
belt,
I know.
Yeah, belt, and he's like, "I want a title fight."
I know. It's been one of them with Joshy. It's like it was. He went through it. It was been a bit tough. Like obviously, he had the 10-ounce boxing. Because with the FFC, we've gone with weight classes. And the only reason we've gone weight classes, I'd want somebody at 82, 84, 86, and 88 to have a belt. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 80, 75. Obviously when it comes to when they start getting populated a bit more, we can look at different weight classes. But like that was the thing with Josh. He's come down in weight. Like he's got abs, bro. He's never had abs before, right? He texted me a picture of himself. Right? He used to have kebabs, not fucking abs.
Yeah.
Like on a genuine note. Like, and this is the
what
thing.
Did he weigh in the first one he fought in? I wrapped that fight. What did he weigh?
75 or 4, I think.
And what's he weighing now?
65.
So I mean, that even himself it says a lot, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And he's walking around at a perfect weight. Like, obviously fight week's next week. He's walking around at the perfect weight to start. Now I see the last one, but the other one, we got Caie Copp versus Schwan Dingle. Now, obviously this one, Schwan, this was the original plan, wasn't it? This was our original plan from the start. But then we had some other stuff from Schwan's side. We had some other commitments that come up and he couldn't do it. But then when Corey's opponent pulled out, Schwan was like, fuck it, let's go. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm very high anticipated with Corey. There's a lot of pressure for him at the moment. Obviously he done the course with me for the MMA course, and I know he's been judging at the FFC. So stepping out of the judging role and being a fighter, but he's only making his debut, so
yeah,
it's a lot of pressure for him, really. But with pressure, they make diamonds, and trust me, Corey's a diamond. You've seen him at the competition. He got skills for days. He's tall. He's rangy. He hits hard. Like I can't. My missus made me stop sparring him 4 weeks out from the wedding because she was like, "I'm not having you having a black eye on your wedding day, or walking with a limp because Corey's hit you." Like, do you know what I mean? So, I've had to bring in some big guys to come in and spar Corey. He's looking sharp. Weight on point at the moment. Like I said, he's just it's gonna be a good fight with him. Again, it's not an easy fight. Like a lot of people would take an easier fight maybe for the debut, but with my guys, I say to them, if you walk in there with an easy fight, you won't do it properly. You've got to walk in there with a little bit of fear, where, to make you get up and run them miles, or make sure the days where you're tired and stuff like that. Because it's so easy to just say, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow." No, tomorrow is now. Like it needs to be now. And he's put the work on. The same as Connor, like, they were at my wedding, and they were really behaved, and they were committed to everything as well. They are firing all cylinders, and really now it's just winding down.
Yeah, it's just
getting
it sorted now, isn't
it? Mentally more than physically, because they're physically ready. It's just more of the mental side of it now, preparing them, trying to explain to them separation from your friends and from all the outside noise, and just focus on each other. And that's another thing with the children as well, is working with the families. I know you're quite close to the family of the children that you train with, and that's a really big thing, because you want to all be saying the same things. There's no worse feeling than you're saying to a fighter, right, you need to be doing this now, you need to be doing that, and their parents saying something that's the opposite, or not the same. Everyone as a collection needs to be working on the same thing.
Especially, as you said, especially with the kids, because we can't cook meals for them. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that anything else, but what I'm saying is, like, you were in the gym with us for 2 hours, or whatever. I'm not following you home and telling you this is what you've got to eat. But what we will do is we will help you with a diet. We will put together a training plan for you. We will do these things. And you are right. That's what makes it, makes it that little bit better. But before we do move on, you're saying about Corey and Schwan. Obviously Schwan made his boxing debut on the last show. This is Schwan's K1 debut as well. So obviously this is the thing that, even though Schwan has had that boxing fight, that was a late notice replacement as well. That was just an opponent change. But like I said, I'm fucking excited for this, man. Like this has got fight of the night for me written all over it. This has.
Yeah, I do agree, because obviously I watched him in his boxing fight, and he's rangy, he's tall, he hits hard.
Yeah.
I'm sure he gave the other boy, I think it was 2 standing 8 counts.
Yeah.
And he was he looked the business there, and that's kind of like another thing that I know you're the same as, how good Corey is. I know how good he is. So we're not trying to blow smoke up their backsides and things. Let's just get them fighting. Let's get the best fight for the fans, for the spectators who are paying their hard-earned money, to come and watch it.
And that's like I said, that's what the best part about it. Styles make fights, and one of the things is the styles. I'm not going to say completely fucking opposite, but they are to an extent. You know what I mean? So this is what makes it exciting for me. Like I'm excited to see Schwan. Obviously, I'm Schwan, one of Schwan's coaches, and me and Liam coach him, and like it is when. Like I bet you're the same. When you see somebody come in and work their fucking bollocks off, and then even though they've given everything, but then when you turn to them, say, "Do me a favor, give me another 20 burpees, Lou," and they just go, "Yeah, fuck yeah, right then," and they do that, or it's like, "Oh, do another 5 rounds on the pads, or do this, or do the rope circuit," and it's like, "All right then," and they still get up and do it, no matter how fucked they are, still get up and do it, and he's one of those ones that's exactly like that. So. Yeah. I'm excited for it. I am. That's one of those ones that that's later on in the card as well for everybody. So that's going to be one of those ones that when everybody's nice and warm and they've seen some violence, then
because they're big boys as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are big boys,
and both local as well.
Joshy headlining there, and he deserves it, and everything else. But they're 65 kilos. These boys are coming in 80 kilos, 79, 80 kilos. I think it's 79.
79, yeah.
Yeah, 79 kilos. they're big boys. You know, by the time they weigh in the morning, they'll probably be around about 80 kg anyway. Um, you know, they're very same in stature, very same in height, tall, rangy, skillful boys.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting fight, and obviously the winner will move on, and the person who learn will gain that valuable experience and hopefully come back for another crack at it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you've provided all Saxon, Connor, and Cody with all uniforms, so thank you very much, and everyone at Flow Fight wear their uniforms absolutely look sick.
Cheers, bro.
Anyone that's looking to get like equipment, uniforms, jackets, you know anything martial arts or combat sports related, check out Flow Fight Wear because they are doing bits.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So outside, we're getting to the end now, right? So outside of obviously the ones we just spoke about, and Joshy, is there anything else that stands out to you? Any other show? Any other fight that stands out to you? The other one that I'm looking forward to now, which we only released yesterday. I was looking forward to Tyler fighting anyway, but Tyler from Welsh Gladiators is fighting Finley Price from Unit 1. Now, this is I'm not going to say a massive step up for Tyler, because obviously Tyler's already been in the ring, but this is a bit of a change from his opponent originally, and I think this is going to bring out the best in Tyler. Unit 1, I work closely with Unit 1, and I work closely with Dave as well, like with Flow Fight Wear, and I went up to the hybrid fighting league last week, and like Finley fought on that in MMA, and the kid comes to fucking fight, man. And at 57 kilo, 58 kilo, at 58 kilo, this one I'm fucking looking forward to because it's a technical fight. Like Finn's had nearly 8 fights, I think, 8 boxing matches.
Yeah.
And Tyler obviously is only 1-0 and 0-1 in K1. But like Tyler, I said when I spoke to Corner about it, I was like, yeah, let's go. I don't care. I just want to fucking fight now. And this is what screams that with Tyler for me. I love Tyler's attitude. And I think that again, there's a very long road ahead of Tyler, and I think there's a lot of fucking great opportunities along that road. Like,
yeah, because if he beats this one up, he's going to be saying, "What have you got for me next?"
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I think he was itching to fight on this, because obviously you want to keep momentum going. You want to build that frame. You know, the Welsh Gladiators themselves with Robbie and all their guys that they're all up for fighting and scrapping, and I think it's just now if he beats this guy, he's put in pole position then to maybe when we won more after that, maybe call him for a title shot, and maybe minus 60 or something like that, a title shot for him. Or if he can make minus 55, maybe looking at that. I know they're hard weights to find people in at their age. So, if he beats this guy, he's putting himself right at the top of the list, and the world's his oyster, really.
Yeah.
I know that he's going to have people there supporting him, cheering him on. He's got the right team behind him and the right show to express his fighting style.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm really fucking excited. I'll be honest. Like we all know, the Gladiators come to fucking fight, and with Tyler, he's definitely the leader of that. So I am excited for that.
And as well as like obviously he tried the K1.
Yeah.
And he didn't look bad at all. He looked actually quite decent. But I feel like the boxing is maybe more of his corner. I feel like Conor Han, we were speaking off air about it. We're saying like Conor Han is a kickboxer, but boxing suits him a little bit more, and that's going to be the way that he wants to compete at.
And that's the thing. When you find it, you find it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's all it takes is you find it, and then that's you sorted. And like I said, that's what makes. And the other side is when you, like me and Jordan were saying this before, when you enjoy that one aspect, that's it now. Like there's no point fucking about. There's no point, I don't really fancy doing the kicking, I'll leave that. Oh, cool. If you don't want to fucking kick, don't. Concentrate on doing the thing that you want to do. And I think that this is what, obviously, as you said, Tyler and Conor have done. And this leads on to that opportunity of what's next.
You want to give us a breakdown of the card now, or like?
Yes. So we have going from the top, we've got Joshy Williams versus Dave Jones for the 65 kilo hybrid title. That is sponsored by Flow Fightwear. And then currently, the way that we are sitting, this isn't the current running order. There we go. Just to make it easier, right? Because obviously the running order could change. I've just put this in the, you know what it's like when you've got
Just
the
by
fight.
random, just slide them in like.
Yeah. So this isn't, just so everybody knows, this is not the running order, but Joshy is headlining the card. So that's Joshy versus Dave, 65 kilo, 5'2" is 4 ounce featherweight championship. Then we've got Gary Musgrove from Apollo Sports versus Ashley Hill from Strike Fitness at 95 kilo, boxing 3-2s, sponsored by the Box Combat app. Now, Musgrove is coming back. You refed Muzzy on Rhondda Rampage 1 when he
Yeah,
fought against Rowan Parrott, and he come up short. Now, different fucking person, but different fucking person. I'm telling you now, right? Me and Jazz, we're saying this, and every one of us have said this. This is the coming out party for Gary Musgrove, right? He may be fucking 36, and he may be only on his third fight because he's 0-1-1, right? So he may only be on his third fight, but this fight for Gary and this whole approach for him and his whole training camp and everything, this is going to show the best Gary Musgrove that we can see. So I'm looking forward to that. I fucking really am.
yeah,
That's one of those ones.
yeah. You could see he had ability. I think it's more mental with Gary. You know, from his aspect, he had all the tools. He had a lot of support in the first one. I
Yeah.
remember. And but you can see in your gym at the moment, like I seen a photo earlier and a little clip of Liam falling on his knees.
Yeah.
Shout out Liam for that as well. Um, but yeah, no, you can see like it's a good thing at the moment in the gym. Everyone's working as a team. I know you were saying about Brad earlier. It's been like the quiet one in the
Mm.
gym, like that. And you can see the Apollo spots are flying high. I know you've moved recently.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to you, mate, because it looks like everything's falling into places and
Yeah.
everyone's in high spirits.
And that's the thing, is like you said, Nick, keep the energy in the gym, and it transitions across. And obviously having guys on the card from the gym, like having Joshy and Musgrove and Schwan, but then also having the kids on the card, right? And like the coolest part, and I bet you're in the same boat because you've got kids yourself. You have kids classes yourself, and when they compete in the competitions on the days and stuff, the coolest part is seeing the kids warm up with the adults, or
Yeah,
like the inside jokes that they've got because it's the gym, or do you know what I mean? It's those, and then the support from either side when one of them's fighting is
yeah,
fucking mental. Like
yeah,
when you see any of the kids fighting, you can see all of the adults going nuts. Whenever you see the adults fighting, you can see the kids going nuts. And that's the thing that, like we said, carrying the atmosphere, it just makes it so fucking good, man.
yeah.
You
And
know?
talking about the atmosphere, like you got to be honest, that there's never been like any problems within the crowd or anything like that. There's never been any touch wood, mind, touch wood, but there's never been things like all the fighters are there for the same reason to fight. But then like, you see them later on having a drink together,
Yeah.
and chatting and talking that's because like these people they're all there on the same thing. There's no egos, there's
Yeah.
no things, and obviously when you mix alcohol with combat sports, everyone turns into an MMA expert or a
Yeah.
or a boxing expert, professional and stuff like that. But when you come to a Flow Fightwear show or Rhondda Rampage show, you know that you're gonna get a good experience from the fighters and the spectators. There's not going to be no problems. I know you have like security, and you really push it out with that as well. The venue, the balcony is epic. It just separates. Obviously, standing's great because
Yeah.
you got full access to the bar, anything and everything else, and if you like a drink, but then also the balcony upstairs separates the people as well, so you can kind of build. Like I know with Teo and Cole, you had like all Teo's fans downstairs, and then you had all of Cole's fans upstairs, and vice versa. It kind of separates everyone, but then also like I know my missus and Hudson's mum, they were talking at the end of the night and having a
Yeah.
drink, discussing it all, and Hudson's recently seen his pass his black belt, so congrats to him as well. So
This is what I mean. It builds such a fucking connection between everybody. Like it doesn't matter if you fought against each other. Like me and you, our teams are going head to head now, right? We got, but it doesn't matter. It's not like, oh fuck this guy. It's not like that. It's the fact that like that's all you want to do is see each other get better. And that's one of the best things about I find in combat sports is the fact that you can push somebody to a new level. And you can do it in a way of like helping even when you compete against somebody else, you always have to reflect on the fact that what you've learned from them. It doesn't matter if they've come up and they've come from London or they've come from fucking somewhere else. That's been a part of your journey. That's been a part of your growth, and I think that's the best part. Like,
Yeah, and you said it earlier, like they're not fighting for UFC titles or things, so there hasn't got to be that animosity beforehand. It can be respectful. It can think. Obviously, it's good to have a little bit of playfulness and stuff like that.
well, on that point, you've got Jordan Edwards from Welsh Gladiators versus Rydian Cummins from Eagles Muay Thai.
Yeah,
Now, Jordan is rather outspoken, and he's he's voicing his opinion. But the thing is, though, like I, I get it, right? He's selling the fight as well. This is the other side to it. He's selling the fight. He's doing his thing, but like I also enjoy the back and forth. Like he's giving it a little bit. And obviously, like from what I've seen, Rydian's, doing his own thing. He's just getting on with it. Rydian knows his
yeah.
job.
I've judged with him before. I've seen him fight, and yeah, he's just me just because he's quiet and he's saying he
This
just
is what I
me
mean,
working.
bro. It's this is the thing. Like I think with the car, it brings out the best in everybody, and this is what I mean. I'm looking forward to it. We've got another one. We've got I because I haven't done the order. I don't want to go through too much just because I don't want to fucking throw everybody off and think they're fighting into something else, right? So I'll touch on the last one. I've got two more to touch on. We've got Troy Harding from Beals Muay Thai versus Amir Toy from Cardiff Eagles. This is K1 64 kilos. Now, I know of Mark Beal from
I'm building
Tem,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
Beals Muay
yeah,
Thai
yeah.
Tembe way. Mark's always supported us. He's always got guys on the show, and like again, like with the fighting farmer, Will Lunt turns up and he works his bollocks off. He put even though he come up short twice that he's fought on the
You just
card.
want him to win. I'm sorry, but he's such a lovely,
Yeah,
lovely
great
kid.
kid. Yeah,
Else. And that one thing with Bills is they always come in on weight. They don't pull out. They support the show.
yeah,
You
exactly.
can't ask for any more from him. He's a lovely guy, Mac, and a good fighter as well. And
Yeah,
he has a fight coming up himself soon.
yeah. Mark's fighting for a Legends title.
Yeah,
In November, so we were planning something with Mark. We were trying to get something over the line, but we couldn't get it done. But it is what it is. But like I said, we got Troy Harding from Beals versus Amir, and again, back to having Mark there. Mark always brings up guys, and then you've got Bobby from Cardiff Eagles, and he's the same. Always brings up guys. Every show we've always had, he's always brought somebody up. So this is going to be a good scrap. Like being K1 again, even though they're both Muay Thai gyms specifically, another K1 scrap that brings out. You know, these are the ones that I'm excited for. And then like because smaller, I always find that somebody's a little bit smaller, they show a little bit more skillful. Do you know what I mean? Like as we said earlier, you have heavyweights who can fucking bang. Sometimes they rely a little bit too much on that overhand right or that big left
yeah,
hook or whatever.
yeah.
Then when you have the guys who are a little bit smaller, they try and set things up. They try and, there's a little bit more to it. So I am looking forward to that. And then we'll finish on this one just because I've got a couple of others that I haven't moved around yet. And like my only thing is I don't want anybody to listen to this now and go, oh yeah, so this is the fight order. Do you know what I'm
No,
saying?
yeah,
So,
yeah, no. I get it. I totally get it. Like it's just more of a tease more than anything.
oh,
You don't want to give them the
100%.
full
Yeah, well,
thing, just a little tease.
because we've got some other fights that we haven't released yet either. So there's that. We've got Ethan Montalto from Welsh Gladiators versus Aidan Dix again from Beals. So this is another Beals guy, and we've got another Gladiator going against them. So again, another fight. Ethan's making his debut.
K1 or boxing?
K1, yeah,
Yeah,
K1 80 kilo. Ethan's making his debut. Ethan's he's taken the steps. Done interclubs. He's done 3 interclubs or 2 interclubs now. He travels up to us. He's done some sparring with us. So he's getting the look of going everywhere. It's not just in my gym having my sparring session. He's going everywhere. So he's doing that. I'm looking forward to that. And then with Aidan from Beals, we know that they're putting the work in because obviously they've got other guys fighting on the show anyway. So this is the thing. Like I'm looking, like I said, I keep saying I'm looking forward to it because obviously I fucking am. But like with having the guys coming from different places and coming back and stuff, it just shows that we're doing the right thing, didn't it? So
Yeah,
that's all that matters to me. Like it's just we're keeping everybody, and it's fair matching. This is one of the things I always want to push. I
yeah,
never want to be known for not giving people fair fights. Like
100%. Like you know yourself, like all of my guys, I'll give you a full exposure of all of them, and I know you do the same, and Mark as well. Like I reckon Mark Bill's guys are going to be well up for it. Obviously him training himself.
yeah,
No doubt he's training with his guys. Prepare them, and they're going to be preparing the way that he wants to prepare. And he's prepared himself, so it's going to be like a proper. They're all going to be locked in.
yeah,
Us gladiators, they're all locked in. I know Cornelius's gym is really thriving now. Tommy as well coming back from the Muay Thai World Championships.
yeah.
Congrats to him as well. Fantastic fighter. They're thriving with Ash Williams as well, doing doing all of his stuff as well. I know he got fights coming up, so they're always locked in. Obviously my guys. You've got a lot of good teams around you, and the teams on the show. Do you know that you're not going to have anybody there go in there and fall down within 10 seconds? They're going to be scraps. They're going to be entertaining. They're going to be fit. They're going to be fair. And you're just going to get the experience. The fighters and the spectators are going to get the experience as well. Obviously Tommy's going to be taking a little bit of a bigger role this time. He's going to be taking over, so I'll step away from my guys where I'll be coaching, and Tommy's going to be taking more of a bigger role. So, he's going to be up for it, keen, exciting, and I can't wait for it because he's really doing well. He's taking the right steps, and I look forward to working with Tommy as well.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, because from a fighter yourself, he's still competing, so he's still getting the buzz of the competitions and the fights himself, and he's training. He's part of Welsh Gladiators as well, and he's going to be refereeing. He's like right up for it now. He's going to be feeling like he's one of the main men, which he is. He is one of the main men on the show. Obviously, he's still got some learning to do, and it's going to be more rounds for him and more fights for him to add onto his resume of officiating and refereeing resume.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously all your timekeepers and the medical staff and all that. Looking forward to seeing all them and working with them again.
Like this is what I mean, bro. It's like giving, like with Tommy jumping in and doing the ref, and like that was, I'd be fair to Tommy. When I mentioned it to him first off, he was bouncing, and because we all done the WMO Muay Thai course, so he was on that. And as we said before, is carrying the same mentality across. Like Tommy, when he refs the Thai, he even speaks to him in Thai, even though it was fucking Vlad and Moyo. He was still speak, because when we done the WMO, they taught us how to engage and disengage in Thai. So that's what Tommy was doing. He's carrying the same thing across, and it's just things like that that just make it more real. Do you know what I mean? It makes it more real for the fighters as well, and it makes it more understandable. So you understand, then it's like, right, this is what it would be if it was in a stadium or whatever, and it just gives people the opportunity to experience from another perspective as well when you're fighting. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
like I said, you've got your experience, and then obviously you bring your guys, and then obviously when we add in our own judging team, for example, Tristan judged on the last one.
Yeah.
Like we've got Lewis to fall back on. Lewis Armstrong was one of our commentators. We fall back on Lewis if we ever needed somebody else to jump in and judge. So we've got that's the best part.
He refereed not long ago up in the show. I seen just a small clip of him doing Thai boxing, and it's great to see all of these people competing. Also, stepping into the refereeing, because for me, I would like to eventually do like a flow fight or Rhondda Rampage course where we can pull in people, so we can, because it's not just about me as a referee. I want to build like a team within Rhondda float fight wear and everything else, so that if I can put fighters on there that we got people stepping in, and thank God we got Tommy, because he started with us.
Yeah.
I know he's done the course and everything else, but he's now building his own experience up within the shows. So then I can take a little step back and bring, get the fighters on there and support you in it as well as just refereeing and stuff like that. So it's as a team, as a collective, we're all working together for the same outcome. To give the fighters the best experience, to give the fighters the best exposure, also to make sure that the fights are safe. Like you said, you're in the ring. People don't see all the costs behind the doors. The cost of security, the cost of the venue, the cost of the ring, the cost of the officiates, the cost of the medical team. These are all costs. And for 25 and 25 for standard, 30 quid for balcony, all this money is just paying for all that. It's not, going lining your pocket up all the things. It's just paying for it.
Yeah.
It's paying to give your guys, your team, that exposure, your team the opportunity to fight in their hometown.
Yeah, exactly. And it's there, as we said from the start, I know I do this podcast and I always bring up Liam, but me and Liam try and stay away from it as much as we possibly can. Do you know what I mean? We don't try and put our name, because we are not the ones who are selling the show. It's not down to us. It's down to fucking Schwan, Corey, Connor, Saxon. It's down to the boys who are fighting to be the ones to bring people there. You know what I mean? So doing this, all of this stuff, this is just obviously the add-ons, which, I like doing this because I like listening to the boys' stories that you train with, and obviously, speaking to people and giving them the opportunity, so then people can yourself, man. If you've seen somebody in a YouTube clip or whatever, or you've seen somebody fight on a different show, that's all it takes is you to see them once, and then you look out for them. Do you know what I mean? If you see somebody do something that you like, you're like, oh fuck, even though he's only from fucking Ponty, oh yeah, he's fighting now next week, and this is what I try and do with the podcast kind of aspect. You know what I mean? It's try and give people that identity. So then it's not just, oh yeah, fight 10. It's not that. You're looking at fight 10, which is this person in the red corner versus this person in the blue corner from this gym, from that gym. And that's the way I want it to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, putting a face to a name.
Yeah, exactly.
When you hear a name, I don't know, I'll just say Caie Copp, instead of saying, oh no, don't know him, I might know his brother or or his grandfather or whatever. Actually putting a name to that face, and you're unable to do that. What you're doing with all of this now is fantastic. It wasn't around when I used to fight in the ring and fight professionally and stuff like that. So you didn't have exposure. You have to build it up by selling tickets, by fighting on a lot of weight shows. But your guys, you take it we got Brad and we got Saxon. We know the guys, we know each other, trust each other. It's not just be taking a chance, because you're fighting on a weight show that you might know the person, but you're fighting a hometown person from there. It's so easy for you to do all that work, get a bad decision, and lose a student.
Yeah, and then
I just like losing a family member, isn't it?
Yeah, and the other side to that, I'm not taking nothing away from it, but yourself that you get some of these other promotions, especially away shows, that, oh yeah, he's 1-0 in K1, but he's 26-5 in youth MMA, and he's fucking 46-4 as an amateur boxer, and you're like, right. So why didn't you tell me that prior then? And that happens every fucking way. I'm not, saying this happens in a specific show. It happens everywhere. And that's one of the biggest things I always wanted to stay on top of. And don't get me wrong, right? People still slip through the cracks. There will be people who say to us, oh yeah, I'm only 2-0 in this. And then I'd be fair to Liam, to give props to Liam. Liam would be going back to 2014 Instagram posts, and he'll see that you've had a fucking MMA fight. You're like, well, you didn't tell us about that. Or your coach didn't tell us you've had that you're a coach. You've obviously got something about you to be an assistant coach, or, just these little things. And that's one of the things that I strive myself on, is the fact that we are doing that, because I do not want somebody to come down, right, take a fight, get fucking busted up, embarrassed, and then turn. And what I mean by that is like, you've seen, we've seen it where you have somebody who's completely fucking outmatched. And I mean, completely outmatched. They should not even be in the fucking ring. And then you have this guy then who sold 50 tickets. The whole crowd's going fucking nuts. He's on a 10 fight win streak against this guy who's just taking his fight and he's 0-2. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't like that. That's one of the things we've always wanted to do. Like we said, and you said it from the start, fight the safety is paramount for us.
Yeah.
You know, I know obviously, fuck, it sounds brutal when we're like, oh yeah, 3 stoppage, fuck that, just keep going. I know it sounds bad, but at the same time, there's a reason why we decided on it. It's not like I was pissed one night and go, oh, fuck this, take that out. It's not like I done that. I
No,
looked into it.
it's valuable, like you said. Like you could be dropped from 2 body shots, and stuff like that. And you could be losing all 4 rounds, and then go out 1 punch, and that
Yeah,
fight's over. You
bro,
know,
it happened to me in my MMA debut. I got my ass fucking handed to me, and I mean, I got dropped like 3 or 4 times. Like I catch a guy in a tight clinch, he's thrown overhand right, and he dropped me. Boom. I was it shaky? I don't know if it was shaky ref on that one, but dropped me. Boom, go down. It was on Murtha Mayhem 3, right, and then I remember then getting up, going back going into the corner in a sec. I was fucked, covered in blood. Come out, he dropped me again. I think he dropped me altogether like 4 times in 2 rounds. And then I caught him in a triangle in the last 20 seconds of round 2. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? And like, that's the only reason I won, was because I had the fucking, the dog, not the dog, sorry, but the drive to just go, right, just get it done. You've got you know what you're looking to do. Don't be fucking sitting here and try and take the easy way out. Like I've got a
yeah,
story I tell all the guys. He knocked my mouth guard out in the last one, and I remember being in a turtle position, and just in Gaethje Ilya to Poirier, when Gaethje kneed Ilya,
in the ribs. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that was one of those ones I was getting. I was fuck. Oh, bro, honestly, I can talking about it. I'm getting rib fucking pain,
yeah.
right? And
Still tasting it now, like.
yeah, my mouth guard was like an arm's length away from me. And in my head, I was like, right, you got 2 choices. One, you pick your mouth guard up, put it back and get out, win this fucking fight. And then that's it. Or 2, you leave the mouth guard, you quit and you're done. I was 16. I was like, and then in my head, that decision completely affected how my life has gone. Do you know what I mean? Because like if I quit and I was like, oh fuck that, just leave it there and I'm just gonna roll over and quit. I think I know I might be fucking a bit mad, but I think that then that would have completely changed the trajectory of where I was going. Like
Yeah,
FX,
that was a moment. That was a moment in your life which was a turning point for you.
yeah, yeah,
And,
and this,
and that's what you're creating when you do. We're putting on these shows. Is we're creating them turning points for children. We've just sit down and discussed about how these teenagers are going to their parents' wedding, and they're not eating the cake.
yeah,
They're dieting, and they're being professional. They're turning points that they're going to building character in them, and willingness that they're going to carry for the rest of life. They may not be fighters,
yeah, but
but
it'll
that might
carry
be a turning
across.
point, and that's a turning point for you.
Yeah, oh, but
You know,
100%, 100%. Like from there, I knew, like honestly, a bright fucking orange mouth guard. I can always see it. I can know, and literally, like that decision for me. If I didn't make that decision, I still stand by the fact I don't think FFC would be a Flow wouldn't be a none of that. And I was like, right, pick it up. You know what you need to do. Just
yeah,
just just get done what you need to do. And that was it. From there, I I knew that that was the decision. And like you said, that's the moments we're trying to create. And the reason we're trying to do that is because if you cement yourself into this position where you can do this type of stuff, this then shines across from a 60, I'm 33, yeah, 33 now, 16-year-old, 15 years ago, 16 years ago that happened. And I can still bring it up and I can tell you like exactly when it happened and how it happened and what it made me feel. Because
yeah,
as you said, turning point.
yeah,
And these are the things that we want to do. And this is why again, but I'll be honest, I go back to it. This is why we put so much time into it. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a turning point for people to come that sorry, this is the opportunity for people to get that point where they go, right, I can do this, I can,
yeah,
and that's why I love it. I do. I love the like the whole process of it, the don't get me wrong, it's fucking stressful, you know, when you get people
Yeah, yeah,
dropping out all the time.
100%.
But
You know, it's part of being a promoter, a part of, you know, doing these things
yeah,
is stressful, but you know, you're building, you're doing the right things, and you know, as props to you and Liam as well for all the things you're doing. Like I said to you, when you were back when you were fighting, then you're talking about fighting MMA. Was you getting interviewed before you were fight? Were you getting
bro,
interviewed after you fought? Were you having commentary on your fights?
I
Were you having fighters passes the weeks before the fights? Were you having pre-fight, you know, medicals? Were you having all of these things? And you know, at the end of the day, there are some things that have to be in place,
yeah, yeah,
but there's a lot of things that don't have to be in place, but you do it anyway, and that's what you get at these shows.
yeah.
Oh,
I remember turning up. It was in Merthyr Leisure Centre. I remember turning up, weighing in. We weighed in on the you know, like the you know, in a leisure centre, you've got those big scales.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, weighed in on one of them. We had a free Nando's was a sponsor of the show, right? So we had every fighter and two coaching staff had a free Nando's half chicken meal, right? I remember this, and Kevin Reed, my MMA coach, and Super Stu, they were there with me all day. I never seen somebody drink so much tea in my life. Super Stu, he drank fucking loads of it. But we went to Nando's, and I was like, I cannot eat right now. Like I'm not in, like, you know, where you feel it. Like I was like, I can't eat the fucking chicken and chips and shit like this. So I gave my thing to my coach, and then we went back to the changing room, and then we got told, and it was like, right, boys, you've got to come in for your medical. You got to take a face-off photo for the DVD. It's like, yeah, there we go, DVD.
yeah, yeah,
So you got to take a face-off photo for the DVD. And I remember standing there taking a face-off photo, and they're like, right, that's £45 now, boys, if you want to buy the DVD. And you're just like, what?
yeah,
We didn't even get paid ticket commission.
yeah, yeah. You didn't know, no,
No ticket comms, nothing. And I remember like going, I said 16. I remember going up to my mother. I was like, oh, can I have 45 quid to buy this DVD? And like, you know, when you sit there, and I was like making the comparison, this is, as you said,
how
you were
much
right,
was your man paying for the tickets? Just a quick thing. I don't want to
40,
do
45
for the ticket.
for the ticket,
How much you charging run the rampage?
20 and 25 and 30.
Do you know
And
what I
this was
mean?
15 fucking years ago.
This is what I'm saying. Then
Yeah,
go on,
yeah.
carry on. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify
No,
that.
I know, but that's a fucking very valid point there. But but it was mental. Like I, you had nothing. Like there was a write up. There was no even photographers there. There's photos on my Facebook of that fight, right, taken from a crowd's perspective because you can still see the cage.
Yeah,
There was no photographer, nothing. There was nobody there to do anything for you. It was right. You're next. Cool, go, and that was it. There was, you know, like this is what I mean. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that we give it a little bit more. You know, it's like, right, have something that you can remember it by. Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
because I don't. Did we even have medals? I don't even think we had medals. I can't even remember. Like, but we didn't have a right. There was no write up.
It's just been a winner's medal for the winner, and nothing for the loser. I mean,
Yeah. Or I think.
I remember going to the shows back in, like I fought in Cardiff City Stadium
Mm,
in 2013. I fought Levi Lawrence for the European title, and you're talking 50 quid a ticket, you know, and like I wouldn't get any ticket commission, you know, weighing on the day, mind, yeah, for the European title, weighing in on the day, yeah, um, you know, just how things have evolved
yeah.
now to where it was in the past, you know, and it's still like everyone says about media about how much like technology is so bad for our children and stuff. But yeah, like I said, if we're talking about the bad things, we got to talk about the good things. The good things is this media coverage and the technology you're using now for these children, giving them, you know, opportunities. Like how many times you reckon Hudson and Hardy have watched that fight?
Yeah, exactly.
KO and Cole, you
Yeah,
know, how much has Bradley watched his previous skills bouts?
exactly. Exactly. And the thing is,
Me.
you've got it there. It's not that you have to go and fucking, like we were saying for myself, it's not that you have to go and buy a DVD and then that DVD has got lost now, or it's got scratched, or it's got this, or it's got that.
Yeah,
And you can literally just just jump straight on. Like,
And the photography's from Jazz as well.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
and that.
you're constantly sharing it. How many times am I sharing your post? Because there's myself or there's people in there, and all these are all up for the fighters. For them.
Yeah, I remember right after that. John Wilson, his name was. I fought right, and I remember after it, there was nothing. There was no photos, nothing. The only thing that come out was in the Rhondda Leader, and Wayne's. Do you know Wayne Samways?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne Samways fought the same card as me. That's how I know Wayne, right? And literally, I'd say it was about this much in the Rhondda Leader, just written about the whole card. Like, and I'm sitting there and like you had, who else was on the card? I think Wally was on that one, maybe. But I know Wally fought on Mirth and Mayhem. I don't know if it was the same one as me. But like, there you go. James Wallace, this was like 84 kilo when he was fighting MMA, pro MMA, and fighting for fucking world titles. You got Wayne Samways, who's one of the most elite black belts in the UK now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it is mad. It is mad to see the difference in the transition from what it was to what it is now. And I'd be totally honest, it is fucking different. It is different. But to be a part of the good change, to be a part of the change where, I want to get to the point where, like obviously you can get more than ticket commission. That's obviously a plan. That's what we are trying to get to.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like 15 years ago, you pay more to watch 9 MMA fights in a fucking leisure center than what you would now to watch 15 mix of combat sports in the welfare. And I guarantee the beer is still cheaper in the welfare than what it was in Merthyr when I fucking fought.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because they were probably outsourcing it and stuff.
Yeah.
You do it fighting in your local town, it's crazy because like you're charging cheaper, you're getting more for your money, more fights for your money. You're getting an experience where you feel safer as well because there are families there, that you got security there, they're opening the doors for you, mate. They're not just standing there like I remember I was just walking, and obviously Harley was upstairs with his mum, and like they're opening the door, they're saying hi, welcoming you. You're getting all that experience. I know, like we've talked about so much about what the fighters get beforehand, and like, and it's cheaper. Like for 25 quid, what are you actually going to do on your Saturday night?
It's literally a takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, you could go to some places and if you get it delivered, that's how much yours is for delivery, including delivery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by it. Like, this is why I love that. That is the reason why I love doing it. Is like we said, giving these local people and local fighters, local talent, an opportunity to go out and express themselves on a stage, which has been there since 1933 and is the last mining welfare in the fucking Rhondda Valleys. And there's nothing more passionate about being from the Rhondda, fighting there. Like Dave is from North Wales, but like his grandmother's from Mardy. So, like he can't wait. He's like, bro, he said that this is one of the biggest things for me. He's like fighting in the Rhondda. I've never thought I could ever be able to do that. And, again, every fucking podcast I reference back to that fucking venue, right? Everyone's probably fed up of listening to me talk about fucking tunnels and steps, right? But it makes it. And just so everybody does know, we've added to this. So you are going to see behind the scenes now. There's going to be we've brought in more photography teams specifically to catch those moments between that walkout, the warm up, that tunnel, that everything. We've done all of these things specifically just for the fighters, the staff, like, because like I said again, going back to that, like we even done it Teo and Cole when me and you were in that corridor. Do you know what I mean? Like that single file is cool as fuck. It is cool as fuck, and to have people in there now and to feel that, so people can see it. This is what I'm excited for. This is what I'm excited for, and I think that people need to understand that like what these reference back to Teo and Cole, 8 and 9 year olds go through to compare to what these 29, 39, 40-year-olds go through. It's exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that daunting feeling is there for,
They get the same
yeah,
experiences. They go for this. They fight the same demons. They go everything.
exactly. And
So, and
this
they
is why
get to
we,
see it mine free of charge on YouTube the following week.
yeah, exactly. And this is why we, like I said, this is why we do it. We do it so people can. This is why we bring in photography into the backstage as well. Like me and Jazz have spent a lot. Like I'll be honest, bro. Like I sent Jazz fucking podcast voice notes, bro. Like honestly, right? Like full on 9 minute fucking voice note of me.
I know you were saying to me about as well, but like when I'm refereeing now, actually having a camera on me, like
Yeah,
there's another thing as well. We
I
like
haven't even talked about that. Fuck. This is what I mean. Like we've bought you a chest mount, so then you know, like for example, you can put your phone in the chest mount, and me and Sean from Undefeated Media were talking about how we're going to start the show. Ricky Wright has got. We've got something for Ricky to start.
as well. Is he coming? Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky's doing this one.
Like the MMA coming president and
Yeah.
like the biggest like ring announcer, at
Yeah.
the moment, going all over the world doing professional boxing to professional MMA, and he's still coming to the Valley, still coming to the Tyler's Town Club.
He chooses to do our show. He tells me he chooses to do our show over other ones because he loves the atmosphere and he loves everything to it. And
it's close to him, isn't it? It's close to him,
yeah.
He's a local boy, I think he's from Tonopandi or Penn.
Yeah, he's close. He's close, like
yeah, close. He's just a bit up towards more Perth ways, isn't it? And at the end of the day, you can't beat that feeling, like you were saying, like that closeness and that feel for a thing. Yeah. So sorry, go back to the
yeah. So the chest camera. So what were you gonna do? I talked short another one who's subject to my 10-minute fucking podcast voice notes is Sean from Undefeated Media. Like the way that we're going to open the fight now is in a wide angle of the start of the fight. Obviously, get their walk-ins, blah blah blah, to get everything proper. We're going to have animated tail of the tapes again, so we're bringing that back in. We've got a green screen that we're going to be using that all the fighters are going to be doing through the day. Like all this comes through in your fighter pack. We want you there from 2 o'clock because we're going to have media, we're going to have interviews, you're going to have fucking team shots, you're going to have portraits, you're going to have the animated tail of the tape, and then how we're going to open the fight is do your thing, and then it's going to start from your point of view. So your point of view when you got your hands on either fighter like you do, and you're talking them through, right, boys, if I tell you to do this, blah 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 blah, and then you would say go back to your corners, and then it's going to start on you going, are you ready, fight, and then the camera will pan out, and then you'll see them from the outside, so you'll see the point of view, and then you'll also see the outside, and then we're going to have the refs cam
and stuff like that. Like if
refs cam,
be able to see so that people can see what I'm seeing. Like
honestly, any big
times do I get count people up, he's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe he's rolling to the back of his head like he's not fine.
Any big point that happens in the fight is going to be used in the refs replay. Now, the refs replay, it could be a minute long or take up the whole fucking in between of the round. It could be 15 seconds long, or it may not even be used in between that replay. But we have got that there to the point of no matter what happens, as you said, if we had that for Cauchy, people would have seen the difference. They wouldn't have been able to. They wouldn't have been. You can't complain then, can you? Do you know what I mean? And this is why we've done it. We've brought in
as well for us as a referees to give like our opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's easier for me to say it now because it's been months or weeks or whatever to prepare. But seeing it in live thing, people can actually say, actually, that's the right decision,
Yeah.
And it makes us more accountable as well, it makes us more accountable as in a sense of we know we're being filmed.
Yeah.
So because we know we're being filmed now, we have to make sure that our decisions are, we want them to be correct. Yeah,
of course.
But it makes us accountable because if we do make a mistake, it's being filmed, right?
Yeah, and so this is the point.
Is how we learn now. This is how we learn. So if things are missed, now, as experienced as I am, there's always someone out there more. I went, like I said to you, I've done that Matt Goddard course. I never felt more inexperienced than being around the MMA's best referee, in my opinion. I'm sorry, they've got fantastic referees, but Matt Goddard is the best in my eyes, and learning from him, there's nothing more that's going to make you feel this small, make you reality check of thinking, God, I thought I was experienced until I'm with this man.
And as you said, one of the biggest things to this is everything could be held accountable. And everything can be held accountable. And one of the things that you have to say for you, and what we brought in from the very first Rhondda Rampage, and we've always brought back to this, if there's any decision that we feel that isn't right, we are very we have a system. We have a system that we follow, to look at that. But then again, this just goes back to the point that either way we look at it, it doesn't matter which way we look at it, everyone is going to see the same thing because, as you said, it's on camera now. So no one can argue with you and say, oh, yeah, but that was an early stoppage. No, it won't. No, it won't. You can see why he stopped it. Oh, yeah, but that cut is nowhere near his eye. No, you can see that it's going into the blood is blinding him. Do you know what I mean? So, like, this is what I'm saying. This is why, again,
just mannerisms, people's mannerisms. I can see them because I'm looking out for them. But, when it's being filmed, for let's say they're being filmed from the outside of the ring, you might not be able to see the facial expressions, the way they react. As we're giving a look at them, you'll notice that sometimes I'll touch their gloves to see how they run. You know how they, when the baby's born, they drop the baby.
Yeah.
See how the baby reacts. Yeah, it's a bit like that. And people don't realize this, that all of our officials and referees are trained, and done courses and done practicals and done all of these things, that people are outside thing. If me and you were driving, Matt Goddard said this, right? And when I say it to you, it'll make completely sense. If me and you were driving in the car, I'm driving, and you're on the passenger seat, and we both got, let's say we drove around somewhere, blah, 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 for half hour. We go back to the house, we go in separate rooms and we write down everything that we see. Are we going to see the same things?
No.
No, why? Because I'm accountable. Because I'm accountable for the road and what's around me, the surroundings. Where you're free. You're just watching whatever takes your eye.
Yeah. You're looking
not
around.
Accountable for what you're watching, because I'm actually doing something where you're actually just relaxing. So if you're a spectator that's watching the fight, they're not accountable for what the things they might be distracted from a certain something that happens in the crowd, or coaches is saying something, or they things where I'm being accountable because I'm in that ring and I'm looking and I'm thinking, and that's what it's going to grasp. That's what that video is going to grasp, is that accountability of the things that I see and the measurements, and afterwards we can even have them as talking points.
Exactly. This is the thing. Like, looking into the point, I could even release the ref cams on his own. Like I can even do that. This is the thing. So, like, it gives everybody the opportunity, and also it gives everyone the evidence that we have. Do you know what I mean?
When they see it, let's say you say to me, why did you do that? For example, I'll just say the gloves again, and I explain it to you. It's like it's a reaction test. Yeah, that's why. And then they watch your podcast about it, and then they hear somebody scream, "Why are you doing that for?" The thing, they'll go, "Oh, he's doing a reaction test on it." Blah blah blah. So now we're not only just explaining it. We're teaching people. We're explaining why that we do these things, and then they can pass on knowledge on to other people who are not aware or not trained, or stuff like that. So now they acknowledge it and they understand a little bit. They might be more interested in them, and explain, oh, this is why we go to the shows. Not only because we don't know what the hell's going on and what fights are, the difference between K1 to Thai boxing to hybrid to normal boxing, to a skills bout or whatever the different things are, is that we come back and we explain all of this to you, and we have talking points over this so that we can educate people.
And then not just that, the fact that then, as you said, educating people is the best part, but then the coaches, and then you've got the fighters. I think the fighters' education is always paramount because obviously they get to see it, and then the fact then that all of the audience and the fans can also see it, and then not just that, but anyone who ever wants to try combat sports, they can see that as well. So they get in you're learning from the start. And like we said, this is the way we're doing it. And not just that as well, but I think with our ref cam, I think that'll be such a cool input to have, you know, and especially for yourself, like because you're the only one who gets to see that view. Nobody else does. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, unless you are in that ring and it's a fucking daunting old ring. I say, you know, it's 16 foot and there's three of you in it. You know, like it's not a lot of space. And but you're the only one who gets to see that point of view. And I think that people will appreciate it more seeing it from your side as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think people will understand a lot more the fact that, like, right, you've seen that right hand shake him. Or, you know, when you see somebody take a shot on it and they don't respond, you're like, oh, yeah, that didn't get through. Then sometimes you see a shot that go and they throw their head back, but then the crowd can't see that.
Yeah.
They can't see the head snap back. But then from
Yeah.
the ref
Or
cam,
even a little like
yeah,
that. Like these little movements, these little twitches, these little things that we're looking out for, and you know, it's going to capture that moment. So it's going to be great. It's great media for you guys, isn't it? It's going to be great, you know, stuff for you to add in,
yeah,
you know, to publicize what we're doing. It's going to be more fun. Like I said, there's lots of positives. There's
yeah.
lots of positives into that. On the bad side of it, it's probably going to get people getting hurt a lot more. And let's be honest, is nobody's worst ever feeling is watching themselves get knocked out or something like that.
No, no, of course. But then at the same time, you have decided you're either the one being knocked out or you're the one getting knocked out. I'm
Yeah,
not saying you
yeah,
decided, but you decided to get in that ring, so you
yeah,
know what fucking, you know, that this is what happens. It's not, you know, not every fight goes the distance. People can get knocked out, and we will catch it. You know, like we caught it on the last one. We caught it twice on the last one. We will catch it, and I'm not saying we exploit that because that's one thing I wouldn't do. I'd never try and push the fucking. Say you got KO'd, I wouldn't be the same reel that we keep sharing. Do you know what I mean? Like I would
yeah,
keep
yeah.
it as classy as possible, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But
you said it swings roundabouts. You know, one person gets knocked out, and then they could be the ones knocking themselves out. And then when they knock someone out, they know how it feels. So they're like, you know, they're the same. They're not going to be reposting that exact
yeah,
moment because
yeah,
it's thing.
exactly.
You know, it is competitive combat sports, and unfortunately, like I said to you at the start, there's always a winner and a learner.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, our job is not to get involved in it, you
Yeah,
know, in a sense of like who we're posting and things. I know, like I said, you got your own fighters. How many of your fighters are on your poster?
and like I try and make it as impartial as possible. I'll go through every single fight from the start, and oh yeah, on the poster we've got Schwan, Korn behind me, and that's it. There's no, and then Robbie, but
Fighters,
Robbie's
is there about 10 fighters on there? 8 fighters, something like that?
eight, I think. So it's four that side, and then Robbie, Moyo, Rid, Schwan, um,
So is and you got
seven.
two.
Yeah,
I mean, and that says it all as well. Like it would be so easy to have Schwarm on there, to have Cornelius on there, to have Bradley on there, to have Hudson on there, to have to have all these your guys, and then everyone else is it's all about his team.
yeah,
No, it's not
exactly,
about it.
exactly. And the other side to that, this is why I always give so much props to Liam Wilson,
Yeah,
who does all of our designing, because he asked, right? I said to Liam from the very beginning, right? When he done Rhondda Rampage 1, he said to me, he goes, what style do you want to go for? I was like, dude, just do what the fuck you want. On a genuine note, right? I will give you access to absolutely everything that you have, but just do what you want. I don't want an input in there. It's the same as Jazz. Jazz is the head of the media team. I don't have an input because the only input that I have is like from a promoter's perspective is like, right, I want this to happen. But like, I'm not going to stand there and go, right, you need to take photos of this, or you need to, what I mean by this is like this person, or you need to concentrate on this person more. I'm not going to do that
yeah,
because like I said earlier on, it's that 15-minute slot where you're fighting, it's your fucking show.
yeah,
There's nothing else going on except it's about you. And that's the way I want it to be for everybody. And that's why we're so impartial with keeping everything with the branding and keeping everything the way that we do, because I'd rather have everybody like Robbie behind me, right? Robbie's screaming into the show. You got Ridian doing the same thing. Like you can they capture the emotion, and the emotion gets portrayed the right way, you know. And like you said, like I'm not going to brand all my team all over it. There's no fucking point. Like I'd rather make sure that everyone who comes to the show is the same as the photo, like the daily post that we do about tickets. I'm not. It's not going to choose the same person. Don't get me wrong. You may guess somewhere it could be like it'd be a pattern. It could be like Harley Hudson, Harley Hudson. Only reason being is because when I save the photos, I'll change the sorting to the size, like image size.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then it's completely random. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I'm not trying to do it this way. I will, like I do all of the social media stuff for us. So I'll sit there and I'll go through every single fight and save the photos and do and blah blah blah. But like I said, I'm not trying to. It's impartial. It's the same as all of the media stuff on the day. All right. It's we were complained at before by another team that we turning up at 2 o'clock is a fucking shambles because you got fighters wasting their day. I was like,
Well,
well,
what
no.
about me? I'm sorry, right? But what about me? Like, I'm the official, yeah? You say to me, oh, Kai, can you be there at 2 o'clock? Yeah? I could easily be watching Cardiff City at 3 o'clock next Saturday,
Mm,
29th. God, I've been invited to a wedding that day. Do you know what I mean? And they said, oh, can you come in at some part of the day? No, mate, I'm at the fight night.
yeah.
Let's be there because and let's be there for everyone. So if anyone has a questions, anyone has anything that they need to know, it's better to be there. How many times have I had people turn up late to you?
No, but
You know,
like,
the show wants to start. Everyone's there, yeah, and you're waiting on people, and everyone needs to be there. Be professional about. We're being as professional as you can. You're having a thing, but everything is done professional. It's down to the coaches to match that.
mm.
To
And
match.
we were getting complained at like, oh yeah, but why do you bring us up from 2 o'clock? I was like, you live, excuse me, you live 45 minutes away, right? Like, I understand it's annoying because you're at 2 o'clock. I get it. I understand you've got 3 hours until the doors open, but wouldn't you rather? Because this is the other side, right? We always have a professional hand wrapper as well. So
Yeah,
we had Christy in last time. So wouldn't you rather all right, I understand that a lot of teams, their coaches wrap their hands, which is fair, but wouldn't you rather have the opportunity to turn ups where you can do all of the medical, get your medical done, right? That's perfect. Now, the reason we ask you to turn up early is because we put extra time into doing these things. Like I said, the animated tail of the tapes, right? And this, like, we bought a green screen, so you would come in and you will animate. So throw some combinations. You'll face like we'll do a digital face off where you both face each other over the tail of the tape. That looks better for you. Like
yeah, yeah,
as a fucking competitor, as a team, as a coach, like I would, if like for example, I go back to Joshy with the BKFC because that's one of the even Corn and the BKB. Any form of fucking media, I don't understand why people are complaining. Like
yeah.
on a genuine note, like I understand if it's your first and second fight, sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming. I get that, right? But then when you're trying, and there we go, take Saxon for example. You said Saxon likes the limelight, right? A lad like him, like as a coach, you wouldn't stop him from turning up and going, fuck that, we're not going to turn up at 2 o'clock. Nah, nah, we'll just get there for the rules meeting and just do that. You wouldn't do that because as a coach, your whole approach is right. Get them in there, get them fucking everything they possibly can. Make sure people know that they're there. Do you know what I mean? And
Make sure they're happy. Their music is done properly. How many times have you had fighters, yeah, turn up at
yes,
shows and their wrong songs being picked up?
yeah.
Has that
Or
happened to any of your shows? No, it
no,
haven't because
or,
it's about preparation.
yeah.
And
Or
then
the other one is when they have people turn up and they're like, oh yeah, but I haven't got shins. Well, if you turned up at fucking 2 o'clock when we asked you to, and we done the rules meeting, and I stand on the ring next to you, and I'm like, right, if you haven't got any gloves, let us know. If you haven't got any shins, let us know, because we always bring space stuff. But
yeah,
then this is what I mean. Like, or the best one, like, and it has happened, which is fair. People will bring the wrong equipment. Like one of the biggest things, and you can stand by me on this. I hate the fucking when, especially K1 and Muay Thai. If I'm wearing cotton shin pads, the small cotton shin pads, right, and you were wearing the big fucking leather shin pads, more fool you.
yeah,
Plain
yeah,
and simple. That's down to you. That's not
yeah.
down to me. That's down to you. You fucked up there. You're wearing sparring shin pads to a fight. One of the biggest things that we put in the fighter packages, in the rules meeting, and we even go on about it again right at the end of the rules meeting, is all fighters to compete, they must be wearing the equivalent of the same kit. If not, let us know, and we've got small, medium, large, XL, and XXL shin pads that'll fit. So you can, both wear the same thing.
And that's costing you money, mind. That's coming out of your pocket, yeah. Because now you can open a pair of shin guards, things. You ain't gonna sell them on.
No.
That's coming out of your pocket. And like I said, like it's about preparation at the end of the day.
It is.
The fight has been at 2:00. Yeah, it should be just a requirement. You should be a given that that person's going to be there. Everyone's going to be there at 2:00. The promoter can go through everything with them. Any questions need to be asked, it can all be dealt with. Because at the end of the day, soon there's no point having all these questions given to you when there's people walking in, or when you're trying to sort out the spectators and making sure things, the bar staff, if they need anything, if it's the security, if they need anything, because you're being pulled from pillar to post, yeah. And then you got coaches trying to chase you down, yeah, because they turned up at 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 or whatever.
And they don't know where the medical team is, and they haven't signed a waiver, and they haven't, and like I said, I understand from a coach's perspective. I get it. I bet you do, and I bet every other coach who's ever fucking listened to this understands, right? We all know it's a long day. This one of the things that every single one of us, we all know. We know that getting there and sitting, like, it's one of the biggest things in this on fight day. There's so much sweets going around, and it's so, like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone brings little things because they know it's a long fucking day, and everyone deals with it in different ways. You have some people who can turn up and they can put a Tide pad down and go to sleep. You have some people like myself who I do a lot of, I just walk around, I just pace and fucking whatever. But then you have people then who sit, it's just so long, and this is so long, and but no, it's not. You're doing this because you have to take this hit here where you make it, you take that hour, because then after it, like, that every box has been checked. Right, that, like, I remember on the first or second one, somebody turned up without the mouth guard. Like, don't get me wrong, I always carry extras and stuff with flow, but like this was, I think, like 2:00 in the afternoon, so that's easily dealt with. But imagine your 3 fights. Oh, fuck. I haven't got my mouth guard. 3 fights, like, you turned up and you've only got 3 fights to warm up. Imagine now if we had to pull that fight because you didn't have a mouth guard and you were fighting somebody. Now they've warmed up, they've walked to the ring, and down to you, without your lack of organizational skills or getting there, whatever, you've had to pull a fight now because of you didn't have the right equipment. And again, this goes back to the fighter packages and the rules meetings and all these type of things. And yes, I understand that because we ask you to turn up a bit early, it is a bit of a ball ache. But then
no, it's not. I don't agree with that. See, I don't agree with it. It's a ball ache. It should be a given that at the end of the day they should be there. You're there to fight. Yeah. At the end of the day, for me personally, we go to the match sports competitions, right? We went to one in Cardiff in the House of Sport. It was only a small competition. Yeah. I arrived at the venue at 8:30 in the morning. I left at 7:00 in the evening. Yeah. I didn't eat, didn't drink, didn't hardly drink anything. Yeah. I like my brother's fighting thing. He's been there all day, and he think you're there to fight. Yeah. Being asked there to be at 2:00. It's not like you're being asked there to be there at 8:00 in the morning. You're fighting at 8:00 in the night. Because if you go to a match competition, that's what you're actually required to do.
And then the other, on that, what you said about turning up early, the other side to it is, like, I'm not being funny, but what else are you going to do when you're fighting? You're not going to go and fucking do a 10-mile hike or anything. Your day is built around that. You've put 8 weeks into this Saturday. You've put 10 weeks into this Saturday. So what? Because you have to be there at a certain time. That's like, right, if you're driving 4.5 hours, we understand it, right? Like Weymouth, right? The guys from Valhalla. We understand. Like, especially when you do a video weigh-in and stuff. We understand. I get it. I'm being realistic. I'm not saying everybody, but like,
easy to work with, and be reasonable, but there's no reason to take the piss. You know.
And that's my thing. Like, and then the other side is, I hope that people do understand that, like, there are opportunities for them. Like, as a fighter, like, we're Cage Warriors, right? One of the things the Cage Warriors do that we are doing is like the profile photo, not profile photo, sorry, but like, portraits and team portraits and stuff. We are doing that. We've
Yeah,
specifically brought in extra photographers to do this.
yeah,
We've got an extra videographer to do animation for the tail of the tape and green screens, right? We've brought extra people in then to interview you in between, to interview you and your coach, and then to do a face off, and then to do like a media reel, and then to do a warm up reel. Then we've got videographers coming around, watching you and getting your hands wrapped, watching you warm up, watching all this. It's not that you're not doing nothing and not gaining nothing from it. To us, the only thing that we want to do is, like I said from the start, and I've said from Rhondda Rampage 1, is it's all about the fighter. Like the whole thing is about the fighter. And if you could, as a fighter, can reap as much as you possibly can, because you could be one of those people that is one and done. You could be like, do you know what? I fucking loved every second of that, but I'm not going to do it again. But it could be 5 years later, and you could be sitting there, and then you could swipe through a reel, and the next thing you know, you see it's you, and you're like, fucking hell. I remember that, and it just enlightens you again, and you're like, oh yeah, do you know what? I might actually go back to the gym.
yeah,
Or you could be somebody else who, again, like reference back to Corn and Ash and fucking them lot, or who take advantage of all of that type of stuff and then end up going into BKB.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
life changing money. If thing, listen, right, I could even go to extreme. You could have a fight at, let's say, 15, 16, for example. Imagine this. You then, you know, have that one and done. You put on weight, you're depressed, you're everything else, you're going through all that, you flip away, it's you.
Yeah.
It saves your life.
Yeah, it
So,
does.
it can save your life. It can extend your life for 10 years because you've gone back training because of this.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree.
So we never had any of this when we were back fighting years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I remember the DVDs and stuff like that. You know, it was no commentary. Um, it's just crazy. So what you're doing for them, and these people should be thankful for you for what you're doing, and know that the extra effort, because this ain't coming at a free cost.
No, but the thing is, bro, 99.99% of the people are. It's just when you get the outliers. Do you know what I mean? When you get the like, I get, like I said, I get it. I fucking hell, I've driven to Nottingham for a fucking fuck me. We were Foxy. Foxy's 14, drove up for three 1.5 minute rounds, and
Yeah,
we were there for 4.5 hours, 4 hour drive. In
yeah,
it was like when it was a mad storm like last year. I get it. I understand. But then it's an opportunity for them. Like you don't take nothing away from that.
yeah,
So like you said, like it doesn't come at a cost, but at the same time, for us, it's having that final project, that final product where you can go, fuck yeah, man, I feel awesome about that.
yeah,
Even if you do learn on the night, even if you do come up short, even the fact that like you were happy with how you portrayed yourself and happy now you've done everything like that, that's all we asked for. And
you're creating a profile for the person.
and that's the
You
biggest one.
profile like, and you look at people like Cornelius and Ash, who are now fighting. Like Ash fought Justin Edwards, in BKB. You had Cornelius fighting Ethan George. Do you know what
And
I mean?
Ethan George is fighting for the cruiserweight title. That's his next fight.
Yeah, well, he just fought now in the prize fight on Gorilla.
Yeah,
I, I
and
called,
lost.
called the final. I called the final, so I know Grant Mallinson. I fought Grant Mallinson.
Mm.
Yeah, and he lost against Grant Mallinson, and I called it. If you have a look on Ethan George's Instagram, I say Ethan George versus Grant Mallinson final. Bam,
Yeah,
called it, and um, and yeah, the Spartans they had 8 fights, 8 wins. They're a fantastic team. From up in Chippenham, and the Madison brothers, Carl and Grant, and their brother Tony as well. Know them really really well. Their dad Roger and Sue, and at the end of the day, these are creating profiles now, and like they run shows, and and everything else, and everything is trying to like build a profile for these fighters, so they have opportunities to fight on Gorilla, to fight on BKB, to fight on all these different promotions, so they can get paid.
yeah,
And if obviously we're trying to get to that, right, as you were saying earlier. But until we get that, people are going to use this as a stepping stone. to get to things.
Yeah,
So
we know as well, right?
Advantage of it, and and all you require of them is their time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's no. I know you think there's no requirement they have to sell so many tickets. There's no requirements for that. Yeah. All they have to do is come up and attend a fight. Yeah. Um. Obviously, the home fighters are the ones who are always going to bring the crowd.
Of course.
I think, but if you're coming down from, I know you've had people from Newcastle, from all different places. You don't require them to,
No.
they just come down. So it's for them to come down at 2 o'clock, and what you ask them to is should be just gratitude.
Yeah, and like I said, bro, this is one of those things. It is just a fucking peeve of mine. I think it's more of just from a promoter's perspective, when you just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, but there's nothing worse from a referee's point of view when I'm giving the speech, when I'm giving that talk, and there's people that I have to repeat it.
Yes.
What I'm saying, yeah. Them questions that might be a question they ask. It might be a really good question that everyone needs to know, but because they're there, not everyone knows that.
Yeah, and especially
well,
now because we're going to be doing like when I say doing demonstrations, but especially now as we're going to demonstrate the clinch and these little things, like you'd expect people to be there on time. Do you know what I mean? Like one of the biggest things for me, right? I remember this from competing myself is the rules meeting is, is fucking. It's not just get everyone there. It's to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Everyone understands the same thing. Because you know what some people are like, but like you'll have some people who, oh yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. And then they don't ask questions until on the day, and that's the opportunity where you can turn around and go, right, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? But
yeah,
like for me, like I said, you are right. It's just asking for time, and that's all we ask for. It's not like I'm not asking for you to come down and spend 3 days down. Yeah, that's all I want you to do is just be on time. Fucking be on time, so everyone can reap the most from everything, and we'd be happy.
Well, and then you can get on quicker. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, we can get things are going to run smoother. The day's going to go a lot better. And I understand it's a little bit more difficult for the fighters because they're going to be at the venue. They might be nervous. You're going for the mill. We both know that as fighters, as ex-fighters, we both know that being at the venue, like shit's getting real.
Yeah. That's when it starts to dawn, doesn't it? When you start seeing the ring get put up and the tables are put up, and then you're sat there and you see I always remember my most daunting one is seeing an ambulance outside. That's like the most mental. It's one of the most mental fucking images I ever had when I was fighting. It was like you pull up and there's an ambulance outside the venue you're fighting, and you're like, fuck, that's become really real all of a sudden. That somebody could get hurt. Like, so I get it. I understand that, but then I'm not saying be there all the time. That's all I'm saying. Like, we do things in slots, that 2 till 3, and then that 3 till 4. And then, like we said, like with you're always the last one to go up with the rules meeting. And the only reason you're the last one to go up with the rules meeting is because we keep it fresh. So then you haven't got no excuse. Oh, well, I missed it at 2 o'clock. No. Our rules meeting is at 4:30, literally half hour before the doors open. So everyone can come in and there's no excuse not to be here.
As coaches in the main thing, so we can go through everything. If there's any questions or anything that they want to go through, anything they want to clarify, you know what I mean? So, I wouldn't, from my point of view, it's very important, and then to them and to other people, it might not be, but if when it affects the fight, it's important, because you've had a minus point because you've caught a kick 5 times.
There we go.
You know what I mean? Well, you've had several opportunities to be made aware of this, and then these happen, and then you're unhappy because your fighter lost, by a point because they lost a point.
And then we again are in the year then that we weren't fair, or we didn't do it correctly, or this wasn't. Oh yeah, well I didn't know about that, but you did. You've been told this. You were told to do this. This is another informative thing that we give you. We give you another direction to not abide by, because it sounds demanding, but like we asked you to do this. So then all of these things, they get so past like so this is again, and referencing back to turning up on time. We went on a fucking big one on our one, and that was a good one. That was.
It's one. I think it is one of the common things, and a bit of a p, a bit of hate of yours and a p of mine as well. It's just because we're trying to be as professional as we can, without asking them for too much.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like going back to what you're saying, you don't tell people what to do. You don't tell me what to do. You bring ideas to me, and I bring ideas to you, and that kind of stuff. But you don't tell me what to do or anything like that. That's why I've always supported you, and I've always done my best to make sure that I'm available on the nights.
Because it's not my job.
Got a date next for the next show? Have you got a date in mind?
I'll tell you off it. But I've got, me and Liam have done some. Put it this way, we've done some stuff. We've done some stuff. I'll tell you after. There's the return of some people. There's a rematch on the horizon. You can probably tell just by me just dropping words, but I don't want to say nothing because nothing's been like official. But
no.
But yeah, there's
ideas and things in motion are there.
There's a rematch on the horizon, which I know everyone wants to. Every single person.
Are we going to see the return of Jory?
But do you know what? I would love to have Jory back, but after that injury with Ash, he's concentrating on the he's going to get surgery and stuff. Like the thing is, bro, you know yourself, like he's such a talent, and he's got so much ahead of him. But when
back in the commentary though, because I thought he'd done a fantastic job as well. I see him back because he's a smooth talker, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But he's part of the corner team for Apollo, so he's
wicked. It's good to see him. I like Jory. I like him a lot. I think he's got a lot to give in the sport. Even if he doesn't fight, I still think he has.
Bro, he does everything that we ask him. Like he'll come down, and like the last week of fight week and stuff, like it's always horrible, but he'll come down to lift spirits up, and even if he's not training, he'll just be there, just to kind of like
as a presence, as more to build that aura up, like because he does the aura, don't he? For what he's done, for Apollo Sports and for Rhondda Rampage.
Yeah.
He is the Penrith King for a reason, isn't
Exactly. And the thing is, I'd be fair to him, even though he's not in the gym at the moment, he's still keeping fit. Like he'll come down, he'll do like we have. Our fight week is kind of like tailored towards, obviously, as we said, he's cooling down. It's just more mental stuff now. Like, but we have a vile mile that we do. Like it's the last thing of fight camp. Do you know what I mean? It's like that last little thing where you get to the point of exhaustion. And I'd be fair to him, he'll come down and he'll do that with everyone. Like even if he's not in the gym, he'll come down, he'll do the vile mile. He's done it himself, so he understands. You know what I mean? So like he's been there, so he gets it. So. Like that's the thing.
Where do you know? Are you still in Port?
Yeah, we're in Port Parfatch at the moment. We are like with what happened when we had to leave our old place. We had to leave the old place. Mitch, who runs Conks, shout out to Mitch from Conks Barbershop. He's currently sorted us out with a venue, so which is really good. Like we getting done what we can. We're still in the process of trying to find a home, a permanent home. But I'll be honest with you, like in between the show, everyone's still trying to keep active and still trying to stay on it. Like the morale hasn't dropped. Everyone's still training. Everyone's still like, and then not just that. As you've seen in the photo I put up earlier, like we have a crossover with Gladiators. So if it ever needs to be a day where it's like, right, we need fucking, we need to go in a ring, or we need to do some like heavy strength and conditioning or something like that. We've got that. We've got the ability to I can speak to Corn and they'd be like, right, can we come down? And we're like, they were up yesterday, and this is what I mean. That's one of the best things about it. Is like we can do that. So it does help, But I'll be honest with you, bro. Like in between the process of when we lost the other space to where we are, we're all right now. I've got some stuff I'm working on in the pipeline for a new venue, which is kind of like going quite well. We could end up in a venue which is built in like 1782.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it's little things like this, like that we're going to be looking at after the show. That what it's like. We're concentrating on the show now, and then But you know, the other side, you know, Rissa, you finish August the 29th, and the November one is a stone throw away, you know,
Yeah.
if
So,
that.
so you're looking at November, yeah, for the next one.
Yeah, November. We try and keep to February, August, and November.
Yeah.
I think that works really well for us.
Good to keep the fighters active, and keeping them busy.
Yeah,
With them having with having time off and stuff like that as well.
yeah, and it works around the other promotions as well. You know, like especially with Wally.
Not clashing with promotions.
Yeah,
Like I'm going to Jackhammer on October the 12th. Yeah,
yeah,
12th.
yeah. I seen that one.
Yeah, Jackhammer UK. I know a good friend of mine, Steve Bevan from up the valleys as well.
Yeah,
WCK, he's going to be co-promoting it with Chris Bladen, and so we're going to be going there. I got a little Cole fighting on there.
oh, nice,
Yeah, so
nice.
matched, and maybe get more, maybe people like Saxon and stuff like that fighting on there. So yeah, just at the moment, just really like just trying to build the team at the full contact team like yourself, because I'm still currently in halls and stuff.
Mm,
I've got things in pipeline for maybe early next year about having my own premises for the
yeah,
first, but um you know and like I said, like after this one, hopefully we can get the ones who are fighting, Brad, Saxon, Hudson, Harley, all like that, maybe all on the same card, but not fighting each other, and
yeah,
and maybe
yeah,
do some crossover training sessions and stuff like that.
yeah. This is the thing as well. I always find that, like, again, even though that we compete against each other, like you still got that option after that fight where you can turn around and go, right, this was an awesome fight. So can we do some training where what did you catch me with? Or what do you think from an outside perspective should I work on? And I think that again with martial arts is one of the biggest things that people don't take advantage of. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah,
you can learn, you could, as we said, you win or learn. When you learn, try and learn as much as you can. Don't be scared to go. Kev always used to say to us, right? And Kevin Reed on Instagram is Hong Kong Kev now, right? Like he always used to say to us, he never don't be scared to go into other gyms. He always said, like he said, I'm not saying fucking Monday go here, Tuesday go there. When he said I have a home base, but don't be scared to travel. Don't be scared to go, and experience different inputs. He said, because you could find somebody that explains something a little bit different and it could work for you. Or
yeah,
you could have something, or somebody does something that I haven't shown you to do, but it works for you.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what,
yeah. Because
what
I've got Saxon currently training out of Queensbury boxing as well, so he's doing extra training down there.
yeah,
And with Clayton Smith, where Selby, he's trained down there as well. This is local gym to Barry. Obviously, I know he's up with Adrian, up there as well a lot. But you got Andrew Selby now. He's not training with them, but just even having them in the crossovers of, as Saxon's leaving, Andrew's coming in, doing sessions and stuff like that. Joe Morgan's been down there. I've seen Joe Morgan, obviously I've been down there with Clayton as well. And even when I'm just training down there in the mornings, Saxon's been down there
mm,
training and stuff like that. And I've got, Clayton's a really good family friend of mine. So like I said, I've never ever stopped any of my guys to go and cross train and go and train with him. As long as they're not, going to someone else's gym when it's their time to train with me.
yeah.
On days that they're not training with me, they're more than welcome to go and learn other things.
Mm.
Little Cole does jujitsu. Yeah,
Yeah. Schwan trains with Charlie Sikwa, like
yeah,
Schwan does one-to-ones with Charlie. So exactly the same thing. It's one of those ones, it's like just like your cup is never full. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in a sport where it's never full.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I th-
You
I also say, like, if you think do you know it all, it's when you need to step out of martial arts.
No, that's a good point. I like that. Yeah, because there's always something that somebody like one one of my ones is my Instagram algorithm is like Soviet style boxing or like Dutch style K1. And you could watch, I don't know, like a basic drill from like I like to watch like the very old stuff, you know, when they remaster it and like all that type. I
Yeah,
really enjoy watching that, right? And the only reason being is you just see something completely different every time, you know.
yeah,
And I've never sat there and I've never gone, oh, I don't need to look at that. Like as soon as you see my algorithm, as soon as you see that, you're like, fuck, what's that? And then as soon as you start watching and think, whoa, that's new, that's different. It's been around since 1930,
yeah, yeah,
you know, like this has been, like I was saying earlier on about warming up with the clinch in bare knuckle. I never seen people warm up the way they were, and I was like, fuck. Okay, let's try and do something like that. You know, like even having people. There's a guy that I followed who's made it's called an old English boxing bag. You know, like at what are they called? A Belgian, you know, like a Belgian weight. Basically, those things you put on your neck, and it's like
yeah,
a banana looking thing.
yeah,
Right? He's hung one of them up and it's obscure, so you can clinch around the top and throw uppercuts. I've
yeah,
never
yeah,
seen that before,
yeah.
ever. So like
That's really cool.
Bulgarian,
That is.
yeah. So like that's a new bag that we've made.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It's a new dimension in it. Is like I said, everyone likes to do the old stuff and do their way, but adding new stuff into it is just like you want to add. You want to add, like what you were saying with the clinch work and with the new stuff things. We're always trying to add and be move along with the evolution and stuff.
Yeah.
But also as well, the old stuff are just as important as the new stuff. And it's trying to find that mix and that balance, isn't it?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, that I know you got K1 guys, boxing guys, you got, and the thing is trying to find that balance because you might turn on and say, right, we're going to focus on the boxers today, but we're still going to work everyone, but it's going to be more tailored to the
Yeah.
boxers, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and
Uh,
then vice versa with the other ones and so on. And you're mixing with kids and with adults, and you're always trying to adapt and thing. And you might have like a boxing session, and then none of the boxers are there. There's all the K1 guys, and you're like, oh wow, I've got to switch.
yeah. Yeah. And we were doing it yesterday. We were doing a 1 to 8 drill, and that's all. Like we were just doing kind of fucking throwing your hands, finishing with a kick. Even though, like, you know, even though we were just trying to, it was just more of a burnout at the end of the session, right? Even though that's all it was still throw everything correctly, you know, and like, even though you may not be a box, even though you may not be throwing kicks at the moment, still just touch it, just try and get it in, just so you are exposed to it, you know, because I'm not going to say I don't like the one-dimensional stuff, but I get a lot of people, oh, I just want to box, I do. Yeah, but the only reason you only want to box is because that's all you've seen is boxing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, but I don't want to throw kicks. But you've never thrown a kick before. So why don't you want to do it? Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like I've got a girl who she specifically come to me and she was like, oh, I only want to box. I was like, right. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever watched MMA? Yeah, right. You know when they kick, what do you think? Oh yeah, it looks cool as fuck. Why don't you want to do that then?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if you think it looks cool from the outside, why don't you want to learn something that you think that you already would enjoy?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. 6 months later, I think I'm going to start doing some K1 now. That's fine. That's perfect. You've put the time into the boxing, and now we're going to add to it. And I love those, you know, those sessions and those type of ones where you can adapt that, and where you have people where they can jump in between both. You know, that's the stuff that I really do enjoy.
Yeah, just never be like you said, like coming from I come from a taekwondo background, so obviously a traditional martial art. So like I never just be happy with what you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
Always try and do things which make you uncomfortable. So I mean, it's like I went through a stage of like only teaching points, really, punch fighting. But the thing is, you can win a punch fight and not get hit. You can
mm,
win 10-0 if it's a 10-point spread. You win. Yeah,
yeah,
I kicked somebody in the face a couple of times. I win the fight. But what I did is it breeded people who didn't like getting hit.
yeah,
So now all my fighters, I say to them, you fight both. You do
yeah,
stand continuous because it's no matter in a continuous fight, you're always going to get hit. And it's like it gives them a false sense of like an idea that I can fight and not get hit. But no, there's not this. You're not a real fight, yeah, yeah.
mm,
There are rules and everything. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to teach people that you're going to get hit and to be comfortable when you're getting hit, you know. So we're training you for self defense, for real life, but also for competition life, you know. And it's like I always say to him, if you're going to go swimming, you're going to get wet. If you
Yeah.
do kickboxing, you're going to get hit. You know, if you
Yeah.
don't like getting hit, you know, then you shouldn't be doing kickboxing. Or I can just be very good at moving. You're going to get hit.
Yeah.
You're going to get touched. You know, we do now low kicks. We do now punch fighting. We do continuous fighting. We've got people fighting boxing. We've got people fighting kickboxing. And everybody in the club is enjoying doing the mixture of the stuff as well. And, you know, even Connor stretching, you know, he is the most stiffest guy I've ever met, you know, but he's stretching, he's doing stretches with all the kickboxers, you know, and you want people like that around you that, you know, like you said, just touch it, just have it a go, okay, and do it and being open minded, because if you can adapt in the ring, you can adapt in a competition, you can adapt in the streets, you can adapt in life in general.
Exactly. Well, Joshy's currently doing MMA classes as well. You know, like he's doing both. You know, like Joshy's told me he wants to fight K1. Jory said to me, he's like, I can come back in November and fight K1. It's like, bro, fuck off now. You know, you haven't even got an arm yet. Like, let's get your arm sorted. Yeah, but I can kick. I was like, yeah, I know you can kick, but come on now, let's just fucking concentrate on one. That's the only time I'd ever call a stop to the crossover. You know, when you've got no fucking shoulders and you want to start throwing legs. But like you are right. I always encourage everyone to have a go. Like have a go from both sides, just because, like it's experience being uncomfortable. Like if you're like, I hate just sparring boxing, but I fucking despise it. I'm not a straight boxer, right? I'd rather throw my legs completely. And whenever I spar with Corn and it's boxing, he lights me on fucking fire, right? Like he hits me about 300 times and you don't even know where it's coming from, right? When it's K1, I'm not saying the tables are turned, but what I'm saying is I'm more comfortable then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm more comfortable. So then it's different. And all right, you know, but like I still have the uncomfortable times. Do you know what I mean? Like even though I'm coaching, I'm still have the uncomfortable times where it's like, oh fuck, I need to work better at this. I need to get better at this, and I need to get better at that. And I think that having the ability to mix the classes up as well, and having the ability where people can come in and go, fuck it, let's have a go at everything, is it? Yeah. That's what I think leads to more growth, you know, within everybody, because everybody sees it as like, right, cool, we're all getting better.
Yeah.
You know?
And switching it up as well. Like, it's like we've just had a club grading, because obviously we have a belt system and everything else. So where everything in grading is like military, it's nice just to go right. Guys, we're having a session of, it's just more free flowing stuff.
Yeah,
where we're just on the pads and we're free flowing, and it's just like, you know, it's more of a not relaxing, because you're still working hard, you're still at the intensity side, but it's like less military based. Like, right, you have to do this one technique and you have to do it 1,000 times, and it has to be, you know, like done like this. You stand to your guard, whatever. To okay, let's not focus more on the one technique. Let's throw in a combination. We're finishing off on a leg kick and a knee, and you know, and whatever. And we'll even finish up on a spin kick or something like that. You know, just to be, for it to flow. Do you know what I mean?
We do a specific flow in Fridays, literally, right? Fridays, I'm not going to say easy, but Friday is more feel what's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's more like fighting feel. Like Mondays, when you go about the militant stuff, quite for Apollo, Mondays are fucking horrible, right? It's cardio, strength and conditioning, right? And that's what it is. It's all fight, strength and conditioning. You know, like burn your shoulders out on the pads, and then you'd be doing, like you said about Liam doing the walking pusher, the walking wheelbarrows. That was after doing 5 rounds of pads as well. So like this is what I mean. It's just
don't stick them on the promo though for it,
just to burn yourself out, didn't it? So then that, and then Tuesday we go into like set pad work, and then it'll be like ladder drills and all that type of stuff. That's quite militant, because like in my head, it's like, right, this is what we're working on today. You know, it'd be like working off the jab, or working off a front kick, or working off a low kick, or working off fucking this position, or setting a square up, for example, and going, right, to cut across this angle and cut across this corner. This is what I want you to do. That's quite militant. Wednesday, we spar. Thursday, unless we're in fight camp, we're off. Otherwise, it's outside strength and conditioning. Then Friday is more completely, okay, let's try everything now. Put your gloves on, put your shins on, put your mouth guards in. If you want to, let's try the stuff that we've been working on. Just feel it. Just have a go. Just, and then
find that flow state in it.
Yeah. And then what we would do then is more fight simulation stuff, So like if somebody, for example, tries to bum rush you going forward, like we would look at like, okay, take, do this, and then get out, or do this, and that's the stuff that I find, as you said, more free flowing works so much better.
Yeah, and I just feel more relaxed going through that with people, and I enjoy, as much as I enjoy teaching people, syllabus stuff and stuff like that. That's more of my calling, is that kind of fight, like you said, fight simulation and stuff like that. Explaining, breaking it down, and then putting it into practice, but not in a competitive scenario, but more of in a flow, flow, state. Like, do you know what I mean? So where we can break it down, go through this, explain this, so everyone's on the same page. Like sometimes I can have 35 adults in the class, and they reach from, obviously we have teens and adults together, so they range from 13. I think my eldest student is like 59.
Fair play.
And you got them all doing this, but it breaks down, and he'll go, "Oh, I didn't realize that." Like a boy, well, he's not a boy, he's a man, Dan Takata, sparring with Corey the other day, and I was just explaining, he was sparring with Corey. No, it wasn't Dan Takata, sorry, it was Jason Stevens, and he was stepping into Corey's backhand. I said, circle the other way, you're going into it, and explained it, and he started catching Corey a little bit more, and I was like, see, and he like just even, and then obviously in a training session, because we done sparring 6 till 7, and then we had adults training there 7 till 8. And I was doing that anyway on the thing about explaining about when we're moving, I'm not moving into the power right hand, power right leg, just all about like that distance control. We want the person position, like, and we're doing that, and he was going, yeah, I really enjoyed this. So you know what, yes, and because he had put it in the practice in the sparring as well, he was like, he already knew it worked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So before we even done it in like fight simulation, he already knew it worked, and he was like very animated about it. And these are little details that people mix, but it's beneficial to everyone in the class.
And also, I think that you could be a first day beginner or a fucking 34 fight veteran, but everyone still needs to go through it, because like the bit, like it's to say, like we've got Laurie David, Juice, his name is, right? Like Juice as one, he fought Mark Miles on Rampage 5. Do you remember?
Yeah, for the title.
Yeah. Now Juice, right? He nails the basics, right? He's like fucking 50 fights in. Juice doesn't do, switch step, right hand, left hook, fucking switch step, back across, pendulum. Doesn't do none of that, right? He just works basic combinations. He knows what to do. Right, if you clinch me, I know I need to do this. If you close the distance, I know I need to do this. And like, I took that off him. So like, I learned so much from him when he was coming in. He's like, yeah, Tom, I get this. I understand what we're doing, and it's great. Like, because we were doing like a switch step, jab, step back through with a backhand, right? So you're just kind of switching your stance, throwing the jab and stepping through. He's like, I get what we're doing here if he was kicking me. And then I was like, okay, cool. And he started fucking about with kicks and stuff and messing about. But like, these are the things that, putting it into practice. And then I was saying to him, I was like, right, Ben, walk Juice down. And then Juice done the switch. And I was like, look, it's just like pulling a stop sign, isn't it, Juice? You stopped him in his tracks. And now you hit him with the right hand. I said, now if you want to, now you can kick him. He's like, oh yeah. And then, when you see, it's just that fight simulation of just seeing what happens and what's next and what can progress. Because you could hit me with a right hand and a left hook, and you end up in a complete different position to what I was in. And then obviously now you've got something else to do on it. And especially, again, back to the fight simulation aspect, because being fight simulation is completely different. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing is going to be the same. Like,
And you know, like you said, like doing it in a fight simulation, how people react to that differently. If you've got a tall person, if you've got a small person, if you've got somebody who's bigger, who's
yeah,
skinny, someone,
exactly.
you know, this experience, someone that's not experienced, there's so many different levels to where and everybody's going to react differently. You've got to prepare yourself, you know, to for their reaction. So then when you do actually do an sparring, you're not put off by their reaction. And
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, that's what goes into, like, obviously from a coaching perspective, that's why you plan your sessions. Do you know what I mean? That you put that time up from, you know, outside, like, oh, you or do what I like to do. I like to get to the gym a little bit early, and I got a notebook. I just write down, you know, like I look I moved to Beijing when I was in my 20s, and I was training jiu-jitsu out there, and I was training K1 and Thai, and there was a my old jiu-jitsu coach. He had this thing that, like, he made everyone write down every drill that we were doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like in fucking 4-page detail, but he would just ask you, like, that was part of his thing. He would ask you to write it down, and not in a way that he could quiz you, but it was a way that you could explain it back to him.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I loved that. From that, I took that. I was like 24, 25. From that, I've done that ever since I've coached. I've just got books upon books. It's like where you would read this. Like, so this would be the technique you're doing today. And then tomorrow, because obviously you've looked at this yesterday, you like build upon it. Do you know what I mean? And I found that helps me.
it's a stepping stone towards what we're doing next.
Yeah, yeah. And I found that, like, that helps a lot. And again, like, just taking that half hour to do the preparation, I think, again, like, especially with people who are coming in and they're trying to learn from basic. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm from nothing, from scratch, and where you've got not like a path to success or whatever, but where you understand, right? Okay, so if I do this, this leads on to me doing this now, and then from doing this, like, when I'm in sparring, I can try this position or I can try this move, and yeah. Again, man, like I said from the start, your cup's never full, is it? You know,
No,
martial
no,
arts is ever ending. And the other side is you've got you could do all the stuff you do in K1, all the stuff you do in Taekwondo, all the stuff you do in karate, and then you haven't touched jiu-jitsu yet.
yeah,
Do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
So there you go. You
yeah,
want to learn? There we go.
yeah,
There's a new one.
yeah.
You know, and
You
this
could
is
be the master of something. You can be a master of something and a student of another.
exactly, and that's the best way to think about
That's
it.
this. But I actually enjoy being a student. I actually enjoy when I started training with Clayton. I've been with him now, you know, about 18 months now. Um, I've learned like how much I miss being a student. You
Yeah,
know,
I get what you mean.
I love being the one that's learning. I like he gets frustrated with me because I'm always asking him, picking him questions, and you know he wants to go. He's like, "Come on, I've got to go. My missus is calling me or whatever. I need to go back to the gym." Yeah, and he's got everything on to leave, and I'm still asking him questions, and
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, and he's answering them, and all
But
the other
that's obsession.
like,
That,
come on,
that
guy, just let him go.
But that's obsession, though. That's
Yeah,
obsession with being better than what you were. Do you know what I mean? And I think that follows across from a coaching perspective, as you said, being a coach, then being a student. You understand that being in the student's perspective, I'm not going to say you have to be fucking obsessed, but you are obsessed with getting better. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that when you see that in a student as well, like when you see that from one of the boys in the gym, when they have that obsession, you're like, it feeds that a little bit more. And I think obviously having the ability to go back to being a student from a coaching perspective, I think that is needed. Do you know what I mean? Because you get more, I think as a coach, you get more out of it then, you know, because like I always found that like you pay more attention to the basics or you pay more attention to this or something like that is everything gets broken down a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, and as you said, like you'd never stop learning, you know, because you're still learning, you're adapting, you're still learning it, and you're bringing it across. Even though it's from uh, boxing, you're still bringing that discipline to what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
that is great. Like,
Just tweaking it a bit, like
yeah,
just tweaking it. You know, even down to like warm ups and stuff like that, different stretches. You know, like the combinations and stuff like that. It's I'm just tweaking it.
mm.
it and I'm adapting it, and then I'm enjoying adapting it because I'm not only learning something, but I'm not necessarily making it better because I'm doing anything in particular, but I'm making it better for my style in kickboxing or K1 or you
Yeah.
know if it's just boxing, I'm keeping it the same, and that's what I mean. I've got two boys fighting boxing. Yeah. Now, anyone who knows my style of kickboxing, it's more of a kicking based. We're predominantly my guys are kickers.
Yeah.
We think you've seen Cody with his two touch kicks and stuff like that. We are a kicking based thing, but now I'm doing boxing and I'm implementing the boxing into our style.
Mm.
Our guys have gone from level 5 to level 7 or
Yeah.
level 8. Do you know what I mean? And then the last two levels are putting it together because it's different. Boxing and kicking are great if you can do both, but then you got to be able to mix the two. You got to be able to kick 1, 2, left hook, right cross, step back, give the distance up, and then throw that like another kick as well. Then you're adding knees and then so like that's what I mean. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, if I do the kicking, that's level 5. If I do the punching, that's level 10. No, because you've got to mix the two. They've got to combine, and not everybody can combine them two. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying. And then, like you said, it's just that level and to take it up and to get there.
Yeah. And then passing it on as well, pass it. Because I feel like, when you know something, when you can teach it to someone else, the way that I showed you, yeah. And you can have your own variation of it, yeah. But you teach it my way, yeah. Then you can add twist and add your little twist onto it as a different variation. But if you learn it my way, that's one way. Okay, like you could drive a car. I drive an automatic, but I pass my test in a manual.
Yeah.
I do it 5, 6 ways, but if I call my way the basic way, you learn my basic way first, and then you can add and take away, subtract, and everything else onto it.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree, but I totally agree on that because, like you said, you're getting better, which then is progressing onto your team, which is then progressing onto them regressing, and then it's just getting better and better and better and better. And again, goes back to the point of the cup's never fucking full, because you've obviously, as a coaching, and it's not like you've been coaching for a year or two, you've been coaching for a fucking long time.
Yeah.
And this is what it goes back to. But bro, I'm gonna ask you one final question before we wrap this up. So what can the crowd expect from Rhondda Rampage 7 on August the 29th?
They're gonna what they can expect is a really good night, fireworks, plenty of highlight reels, a good running show that's gonna start, entertain you, provide you with a great experience, and great exposure for all the fighters and aftermath. And
awesome.
And obviously, the ticket prices are affordable, the drinks prices are affordable.
After we talked about that, right, and we compared them to mine and yours, that's fucking mental.
Yeah.
Like it is mental. It is mad. Like,
I'll send you the poster. £50 a ticket.
Yeah. So mine was Merthyr Mayhem 3, Merthyr Mayhem 5, and I'm sure because they were selling tables as well, and I'm sure it was like £800 for a table, and we had sponsor table and we sold 2, and we were selling them for 250 quid.
Yeah,
it's just nuts, man. It is.
It is. But obviously, I'm super excited for it. I know my team are super excited for it. Obviously, we look forward to always working with you guys and stuff like that. And I know you mentioned about doing me a new top.
Yeah.
But and like I said again, check out Flow Fight Wear.
Cheers, bro. Awesome. Have you got any shout outs you want to go up before we wrap this up?
No, just shout out to you and Liam for organising this. Obviously to my fighters, Saxon, Connor, and Corey as well, and all the people that's been training with them.
Awesome.
Honestly, I really do appreciate them for having me on. Yeah, I always enjoy it, and I made sure I learned from the first one by not saying too much.
Bro, you didn't, man. You're all good. At least you're not as bad as me and swear pretty much every other fucking sentence, so it's not so bad. So, but no. I really appreciate you coming on, bro. And like we said, guys, Caie Copp, the FFC head official, we broke down the rules, so everyone's got that now. If any questions, you know, like we can go through anything that you want us to go through. Obviously on the evening, like we said, we'll have the rules meeting. We go through everything with the hybrid, with the K1. We make sure that everybody is on the same page with it. But no, that's it. I just want to say, just for everybody to, we've got, I think there's 8 balcony tickets left. From what I checked this morning, there's 8 balcony tickets left. The balcony's pretty much all gone. Rhondda Rampage 7, Saturday 29th of August in Tyrestown Welfare Hall, the home of Rhondda Rampage. Doors open at 5, first fight's at 6. Standing tickets are still available. They're available from your fighters and also available from the boxed app and also available from the welfare itself. Before we finish, just a massive thank you for everybody supporting Rhondda Rampage, Caie Copp, and obviously his team as well as a massive thank you, and the guys competing on the show. To our sponsors, Flow Fight Red FFC Podcast, Captured by Jazz, Combat Parkinson's, Box Combat App, Nails by Sanchez, Liam.w Design, and Dan Scrans. Just so everybody does know, Dan Scrans is going to be there outside the venue set up, and he's going to be serving food. So we're going to be having food on the evening. And yeah, I just want to say thanks, really, brother. Thanks very much for joining me. And thanks everybody else for listening. And I just want to say, see you all on fight night.
See you all on fight night.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war. Always up with me. I'm ready for war. 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 I come from taking losses, throwing crosses every day.